Silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority. This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Wednesday, July 17, 2019. This is the Gematria Effect. I'm Zachary K. Hubbard. Whole lot going on this week, like there is every week. Big news in Washington, D.C. was there was a movement to begin the process to impeach Donald Trump, but it was voted down. If you noticed, most cable news networks, their websites today, they have a picture of Trump up with the impeachment story. And right next to it, they have a story of Kevin Spacey and his charges being dropped. The impeachment dropped, the charges against Spacey dropped, and what connects those two men, Donald Trump and Kevin Spacey, who keep getting linked together in the news on the same days, a pattern going on for years. Of course, it's the TV show House of Cards, where Kevin Spacey played the president. And if you've never seen my work before on what's encoded into Kevin Spacey's character name, it's the same Gematria that syncs with Donald Trump. So anyhow, of course, this impeachment news comes on the back of Donald Trump's supposedly racist tweets. What's funny is, recall that earlier this year, Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman, was shamed, and Congress voted to condemn her tweets that were said to be anti-Semitic, even though they weren't. She said it's all about the Benjamins, just, weeks before there was the Battle of the Benjamins in Israel for their rigged presidency, Benjamin versus Benjamin. But anyway, then she got shamed by Congress. They had the vote to condemn her remarks. They said it was anti-Semitic. It was by the numbers. And then just yesterday, the Congress voted to condemn Trump's racist remarks. And I'm no Donald Trump apologist. I don't think his remarks were right, but they weren't racist. There wasn't really any racism in the remarks that he made. So we're condemning racism for something that's not racist, and then we're condemning anti-Semitism for something that's not anti-Semitic. Well, what's interesting is, of course, both of these contrived stories were by the numbers. The Ilhan Omar vote was on March 7th, and then the Donald Trump vote was on July 16th. That was 132 days apart. And remember, the House of Representatives equals 132. So does United States of America, news for a nation. And don't forget, the naming of the United States of America came 132 days after the establishment of the Bavarian Illuminati. And there's also 132 rooms in the White House. But yeah, it's just everyday contrived nonsense, more stuff to divide people, to distract them, to make them fight over the meaningless. And it really just does become more and more nonsensical each day, So if anybody wants to call in and tell me what was anti-Semitic about Ilhan Omar's remarks, saying it's all about the Benjamins, or Trump's remarks, where essentially, he pretty much what he did is insulted poorer nations. And I guess in an indirect way, you could say, well, those nations aren't white, so that's where the racism was. But anyway, it's just a bunch of contrived BS. And that's the point I'm trying to get across. So rather than ramble on, I will go out to the callers before the line gets too long. If you do want to call in tonight, the number's 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. 39.98. Let's go out to Minnesota. One of our longtime great callers. How are you?
Hey, brother, it's hot here, so I probably have a lot of fan noise, but I hope it's not too bad. But I'm doing good, brother. And you was right. The young sister from here, nothing she said. What she said was, she said this is about the power, about the money. And so there was nothing wrong with what that young sister said here. But like you said, it's the shame ritual all of them go through.
Right.
That's all. Put her in her place. And staying with the topic, see, now this is something I don't dig, is that name Cortez, that, you know, I study history, and Cortez is not a great name in the Americas. Just as much death as you can put towards Columbus, you can probably put triple the amount toward Cortez. You know, Columbus had an island. Cortez, you know, is responsible for the deaths of South America and Mexico. So I don't really roll with that. And then my final thing is this Mike Kelly. See, this is something you have to wonder about words. Now, Mike Kelly said he was also a person of color. He said he was an Anglo-Saxon. Now, for a long time, that was really the only people that were considered white, was Anglo-Saxons. Like a lot of times, that's why you would see, if you see free people of color, you would see that all over Europe. See, they're talking about other types of what now we say are white people. And it goes back to Bacon's Rebellion is when they changed it. They said, hey, we don't need these poor people. And that's what Trump is all about. It's people working class people love to identify with rich people. I mean, I personally know people, I live near reservations. Let me tell you, 30 years ago, they had nothing to do with those reservation people. Now, since they're all millionaires, these people can't wait to say, yeah, they're my friend. I know them. And so it's the same kind of thing with Trump.
Sure.
So that's all I really have, brother. Oh, one more thing is reparations. But see, this is what I want to say. You know, people jumping on this reparations train. Let me say this. Free people of color are going to be able to get reparations. And there were a lot of indentured servants in America. And then the amount of companies that are going to come and take advantage of people. Say people did get $1 million each. You know the cheap companies that would move into these neighborhoods, and within 5 years, all that wealth would be gone. 5 years, all that wealth would be gone. And here's the people that in 3 days put together $25 million for Black Panther disposable income. And yet these people won't get together to say, okay, here's $25 million in 3 days. What can we do if everybody puts their disposable income in something that will benefit our children? But it's not looked at that way. So,
sure.
Thank you, brother, as always. This is Papa Eagle or Starface or Time Lord, Timekeeper. So thank you as always, brother. You know I give you support.
Appreciate it. You're very welcome, and thank you for always calling in. You have a good rest of your evening.
You too, brother.
Right,
take care.
All right, let's go out to, I believe, New Jersey. New Jersey?
Hi, I'm just listening.
You're just listening? All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it.
No problem. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Let's go out to New York City. We're getting a lot of feedback tonight on the line. I'm not sure why that is, but.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on, New York.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Zach, what's up? I'm just listening.
You're just listening to it? All right.
But, I caught something. You listening?
I'm listening.
Yeah, in the speech, today's the 4-year anniversary of Eric Gardner. In the speech Trump just gave, he was talking about his friends choking when they meet up with him. Anyway, I'm done.
All
Have
right.
a good night.
Interesting. Appreciate that. So again, Eric Garner, who was reportedly choked to death by the numbers. And then Donald Trump today on the 5-year anniversary brought up choking. All right, let's go out to West Virginia.
Oh, wow, I got on fast tonight. Pretty cool. It's Bow and Arrow, man. I got some interesting things for you to consider. I'll give you a date, and you'll automatically recognize the numbers in this date. It's 10/1/1911. And, of course, 10/1 is the Las Vegas shooting numbers that happened on 10/1, and 19/11 would be like 9/11, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the day of the birth of a guy named Fletcher Neville. And Fletcher Neville stole a trademark that was very important called the bottom line trademark. And this is about that guy I just wanted you to get to know a little bit. Whether or not you ever have him on or anything like that is not as important as learning what he has to say. Because this guy stole his trademark, okay? And he died on 2/26/93, like flight 93. 226 is very close to the pi number, 227. Okay, well, get this. You remember when McCormick ran a helicopter into the Sheridan there in New York City? Well, on the Bumblebee movie, there was a helicopter. And on that helicopter's tail, it said 13553 on it. And the last scene in the Bumblebee movie was them going across the Golden Gate Bridge, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Well, okay, while McCormick was flying this helicopter into the tower, he was phone calling this same guy who had his trademark stolen by Fletcher Neville. I mean, he was on the phone, and he shows you the phone log showing, look, here's all the times that McCormick called me. So this is pretty important, and this all ties together, believe it or not, because this guy knew Walt Disney in person. He went to church with him. He grew up with Walt Disney himself. And Walt Disney put his number, because he was born in 53, into movies a lot. So when the helicopter that has 13553 crashes into the tower, it's referring back to 53. And he says Walt Disney intentionally called Herbie the Love Bug number 53 in reference to him. I mean, there's so many pieces of this puzzle that are so important. And I just feel like getting to know this guy's story. His name is Hugh Squires. And, the more that you understand about this story, the more all these pieces come together. And how does it fit with Fletcher Neville, who stole his trademark's birth date? Well, yeah, the Las Vegas shooting was on 10/1, but Hugh Squires had just left that property when that happened. I mean, what are the chances? And here the guy that stole his trademark was born on that day. And this is stuff that I pieced together too, not just stuff that he told me. I can also piece together a lot of it. They seem to give him warnings a lot on the news. And the Gematria is amazing. Fox News refers to him because he used to, I don't know the exact association. I get a little foggy on it, but he had an association with Fox News before it actually became Fox News too, through his publishing company. Well, anyway, so Fox News sometimes refers to him. And they had an article the other day on 7/16 yesterday. Okay. And they were talking about how one of the members of the Marvel cast was taking a picture of a sunset. And sunset is 64, the same as Hugh. And Sunset and Marvel are both 37. And Emma Fearman was the actress that took the picture. She was 62. Hugh Squires was 62. And the date was 62. And then they talked about how Emma Fearman was once on The Magic of Belle Isle, a movie called The Magic of Belle Isle. Belle Isle is an island in Michigan on the Detroit River. And that is where Hugh's wife was strung up and murdered. So there's no question that they were sending a message that, you're 66 years old. And by the way, from the date of the coming out of The Magic of Belle Island to the date of this article was 2,566 days, and Hugh's 66 years old. Now, this is all stuff I figured out, okay? And it all ties in. And he says they've done this his whole life. So it's not... So anyway, this is a huge story. And I think it's a very important piece of all these riddles. So I hope I made sense. I hope I wasn't too confusing there.
Sure. Why don't you just tell this guy to call into the show instead of call about him every week and tell us about him?
Yeah, I did. I've asked him to. He hasn't done it yet. I
Okay.
even asked him tonight.
So, all right. Yeah, I think you made your point about him. I mean, if he wants to call in, that's great. If not, I think there's a lot more important things going on in the world. That's my personal take. So, all right, man. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right.
All right. Let's go on to Rambo. What's going on, Rambo?
I had my first Zach Hubbard moment this week.
How's that?
It's the first time I actually made money for somebody. I've been doing Gematria, like you've made, who knows, hundreds of thousands for people. This is the first time my Gematria actually made money for somebody on the Wimbledon women's final.
Very cool.
Yeah. Actually, I've never bet before in my life, so I was betting for the very first time in my life. 2 hours before the final, I bet $500 on Halep. I would have come up 840-ish in the plus, but I found out you couldn't bet online in New York. Nobody told me that. I've never bet before. So I missed out. Yeah, I missed out like about 850-ish bucks.
Well, you'll get that opportunity again. Nice work.
Yeah, but at least it confirmed that I had identified the pattern, and it is in effect. So I'll continue on the topic of the sacred feminine principle and its use and manifestation in the current zeitgeist of 2019. That's in all areas, sports, entertainment, politics. Just to review again, just to give it context, the sacred feminine archetype is expressed through ancient goddesses. For example, ancient Babylon's Semiramis, who happens to be the inspiration for the Statue of Liberty. Ancient Kemet / ancient Egypt had a Hathor, and Hathor became Aset, whom the Greeks called Isis, and the Greeks came up with Aphrodite as a result, and the Romans came up with Venus. All these expressions are of the same universal force, the sacred feminine. That's not a literal human female, but human females are used in rituals, either exalting or destroying the sacred feminine. The key archetype at present times is Venus, the Roman goddess and planet. The two tropical zodiacal houses ruled by Venus are Taurus and Libra. The most significant gematria value of Venus is 54. In the reverse of the purest cipher, Pythagorean, or reverse full reduction. So Taurus, Libra, 54 are all representations of Venus, which is currently dominating. In women's professional tennis and men's professional golf, I have predicted Venus Grand Slams, meaning all 4 major tournaments in each sport will be won by a Libra, Taurus, or a person with very strong 54 coded into them. 3/4 of the Venus Slam. In Gematria, Venus Slam sums to 54. 3/4 of the Venus Slam was just completed over the weekend in women's tennis when, as I predicted on last week's show, 2 Libras met in an all-Libra final. And Simona Halep of Romania prevailed over Serena Williams. There is another number of the goddess. In ancient Egypt, or ancient Kemet, 711, 711 was known as the number of Isis. If you spell out 54, it sums to 117. The date 117, November 7th, leaves 54 days in the year. The most vivid display of 711 or 117 as the number of the goddess is the Statue of Liberty. If you see a direct top aerial view of Lake, you will see that her pedestal is an 11-pointed star. Her crown is a 7-pointed star. That is 7-11 coded into the Statue of Liberty goddess. Beyonce, the entertainer, visited the pyramids of Giza, which are built at a 7-to-11 ratio, height to base. Beyonce visited the Great Pyramid of Giza on November 7th, 2009, 117, and she produced a song titled 7-11. This past July 11th, 7-11, the 7th seed at Wimbledon, Simona Halep, won her semifinal, as did the 11th seeded Serena Williams, who defeated the 54th ranked women's tennis player. So the Halep-Williams Wimbledon final represented the number of Isis, 7-11.
And again, their matches were on July 11th too, weren't they? Didn't they play on 7-11?
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody got that point. Right.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was this past July 11th, yeah. And also, this is slightly off topic, but relevant. Michelle Obama's birthday is January 11th. January 17th. That's 117. That's a clue to the real conspiracy. The whole transsexual theory is nothing but a red herring. And if you're falling for that, then you're falling for a red herring. Because there's another conspiracy. I'm not going to go into that. That's another rabbit hole. But her 117 birthday has to do with ancient Egypt. And by the way, the gematria of Michelle Obama is 54. So 2019 women's tennis majors are Osaka, Barty, Halep. That's Libra, Taurus, Libra. So who will complete the Venus Slam? It's highly unlikely, but even Venus Williams is in the running just because of her name, if nothing else. Serena Williams has won 23 career majors. The record is 24, held by Australian Margaret Court. Yes, the all-time great of tennis is named Court. 54 is the number of the year in 2019, especially regarding women, for which it has always been a key number. The final of the US Open for women's tennis is Saturday, September 7th. If you consider a 54-day time span leading up to September 7th, you get a start date of July 16th. July 16th is the birthday of Margaret Court, whose record Serena Williams will tie if she wins the US Open. So again, a 54-day time span from Margaret Court's birthday to the Women's US Open final. So Margaret Court is all over the US Open final. I did gematria on the phrase tie all-time record. It sums to 79. The date of the final is 7th of September, 7-9. So I'm going for Serena Williams, the Libra, to complete the Venus Slam. But to hedge my bet, maybe I would consider Australia's Ashley Barty, the Taurus, simply because Margaret Court is Australian just as Barty is, and maybe there's a narrative of an Australian protecting the record for another Australian, but I think it's Serena to tie Court at the end of a 54-day time span from Court's birthday. Men's golf is 3/4 of the way to a Venus Slam. Tiger Woods is not Taurus or Libra, but has 54 coded so strongly. Tiger Woods sums to 54 in reduction and reverse reduction. It's coded so strongly into Tiger Woods that during the Masters, which he just won, his caddy wore number 54 on the front of his jumpsuit. The second major, the PGA Championship, was won by Brooks Koepka, by Gary Woodland, also a Taurus.
Hey, just so you know, Rambo, you cut out for a second, but you said that the PGA Championship was won by Brooks Koepka. It cut out there, but I know what you were going to say. He was born May 4th, like 5'4", and then you came back in.
No, he was born May 3rd.
Oh, was he? Oh, is it Roy that's born May 4th? Okay, I knew that their birthdays are a day apart. Okay, well, you cut out. So what did you say then?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, the second major, the PGA Championship, was won by Brooks Koepka, a Taurus. The third major, won by Gary Woodland, the U.S. Open. Woodland's also a Taurus, which leaves this weekend's Open Championship, or British Open. Koepka could win again to complete the Venus Slam, as could Woods. Also in contention is Justin Thomas, who's young and has...
Pause right there, Rambo.
Already has...
Pause right there because the music's going to kick in, and then we'll continue with the decode after the break here.
Okay.
Diane.
I just came to the chat. Thank you for the super chat. Very generous of you. Appreciate that. Happy birthday. Thanks. Yeah, it'll be my birthday in 4 days. Keenan says, your thoughts on the NOLA flood coming 107 days after Drew Brees' birthday? Well, you should keep up with my blog. I didn't make a video about it. I did talk about it on the Patreon, but sadly that whole flood is perfectly synced with the NFL season, which should give everyone deja vu of the Saints becoming a good football team after Hurricane Katrina. Barry equals 35 like flooding. 35 is a big number to Super Bowl history as well. And yeah, it looks like things we've seen in the past. So Dave said this is like watching a sitcom. His favorite part was about to come, and now we're going to commercials. Well, the good news is the commercials are a lot shorter on here, so we're almost back. Somebody asked about this code being used to identify the Antichrist. Well, you know, Revelation 13:18 says that this code's the way to find the number of the beast. I don't think the Antichrist is a person or one entity, though. I think it's more like a system. Let's see. Yeah, I did catch how they put Kemba Walker and Enos Kanter up on the stage with the 11 and 8. Celtics equals 118. That's why they did that. I don't really think it's about August 11th. I think it's just about Celtics equals 118. Again, 118 has always been a significant number, but I'm pretty sure that was the ritual there with that. Giants won 11-8 today. Of course they did. Okay, we're coming back from the commercial break here in just a minute. All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're in the middle of Rambo's decode. Rambo was about to break down the British Open, which begins tomorrow. And are you still there, Rambo?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you're on.
Okay. All right.
The floor is yours.
I'm getting feedback.
Hold on, let me turn it down. How's that?
Let me see. All right, good. I don't hear any feedback now.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I'm still hearing it.
Here, turn it down some more. Yeah, it's still pretty loud. Okay, how's that?
No, let me see. All right, I'm not hearing anything now.
Okay.
All right, that's good. All right, so I'm talking about the Venus Slam, obviously, and I went over how three of the four majors in golf, as well as women's professional tennis, have all gone according to the Venus Code, which is dominating all areas, not just sports, politics, entertainment, everything this year. I've gone over that the last couple of weeks. So I expect both sports to complete the Venus Slam. Like I said, Venus Slam, which is a term I invented, some to 54. I guess that's the organic side of it. So yeah, so this weekend they'll crown a new champion for the British Open, and if Koepka wins, which is very likely, it would complete the Venus Slam, or Tiger Woods, because he has a heavy 54 code, that would complete it. But also in contention is Justin Thomas, who at 26 years old has already won a major, and is very capable, and he is a Taurus. So Justin Thomas could complete the Venus Slam as well. But I'm looking at Rory McIlroy. Not only is Rory McIlroy a Taurus, again, Taurus is ruled by Venus, but his birth date, May 4th, 5-4, is the key Venus number. The tournament is being held in his home country on a course where he holds the course record. This is one very rare occasion when the British Open is held outside of England or Scotland. The last time it was held outside of England or Scotland, it was at this very course, Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. And that was in 1951. The winner that year was Max Faulkner. The names Max Faulkner and Rory McIlroy have a super match in 3 out of 4 base ciphers values. 171, 126, and 63. Max Faulkner and Rory McIlroy matchup. This brings I want to bring up another symbol of Venus, and that's the diamond. The poem Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star refers to Venus, which is likened to a diamond in the sky. Venus, rightly or wrongly, and that's a whole other topic, is referred to as sometimes Lucifer, meaning the light bearer. Lucy is short for Lucifer. Hence the phrase diamonds, equating Venus and diamonds.
Rambo, your signal dropped again right before you made the point about diamonds.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I was saying that the poem Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star refers to Venus, which is likened to a diamond in the sky. And Venus is sometimes referred to as Lucifer, rightly or wrongly. Lucy is short for Lucifer. So the phrase Lucy in the sky with diamonds equates Venus with diamonds. And I was saying that the reason I bring that up is because Rory Mac. So I think that's the name of his caddy is a Venus reference.
Yeah, sorry, Rambo. Your signal keeps dropping out for like 5 seconds at a time. Right when you start to say Rory McIlroy, it dropped again.
Oh, okay. Rory McIlroy's caddy is named Harry Diamond.
Hmm.
And the name of his caddy, Diamond, is another Venus reference. It's very esoteric. All right. Another possibility to upset the apple cart is Xander Schauffele, who is neither Taurus nor Libra, but has strong Venus coding. 251 is the 54th prime. The Venus ode, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, How I Wonder What You Are, sums to 251. Schauffele's birthday is 25th October, 2510. He started out as 25 to 1 odds. Open Championship comes to 251. Again, 251, the 54th prime number. Venus is the sacred feminine, which is dominant in 2019, which is why the Toronto Raptors won the NBA title in 2019. Toronto Raptors matches sacred feminine in 2 out of 4 base ciphers at 71 and 82. Xander Schauffele matches Toronto Raptors and sacred feminine in the same 2 ciphers. So Open Championship sums to 71, like Toronto Raptors, it sums to 71. Like sacred feminine sums to 71.
Royal Portrush is 71 as well. So is the word royal alone.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like Xander Schauffele sums to 71. Also factor in Rory McIlroy openly supporting the Toronto Raptors, wearing the jersey, showing up at the game. So that's all. I see Xander Schauffele, Toronto Raptors haven't won. There's a sacred feminine symbol. Rory Mac. That all seems to be part of a web. And also Toronto sums to 117, the number of the goddess. So yeah, it's either I think it's McIlroy, and if it's not McIlroy, it's Xander Schauffele.
Very well could be.
There's only one last thing I like to say is I'll talk about this later, not this week, but the golf majors are ending early this year. They're supposed to end in August. Like August 11th was supposed to be at Bethpage, Long Island. I think it was the PGA.
PGA Championship.
Normally that's the last.
Right.
Right. That's the last major of the year, but it was supposed to be on August 11th, on Sunday, August 11th. That was supposed to be a final of the PGA, which is always held on Long Island at Bethpage. This year it was moved. Now this is my concern. Why was it moved? There was no reason for it to be moved. They haven't given a reason. Why would you move something? And we've been talking about the day August 11th. The fact if the Gematria on August 11th is 54. It reminds me of 2001, the New York Rangers NHL hockey team. They always had their preseason medical at the Millennium Hilton, which is at the World Trade Center site. They always had it that way, except on 2001, they moved their preseason medical away from the Millennium Hilton, and then we know what happened after that. So yeah, I want to go into. I'm concerned. I know. Our caller, our friend, Johnny Stagg from Long Island, we know and love him. I think I prefer if he skipped town that weekend just to make sure. But I have a bit of a decode on maybe something happening on Long Island on 8/11. I hope not, but I'm really concerned why they moved the tournament from 8/11.
Sure. It is a great point.
Yeah.
Did you want to share what it was?
Again, Zach, thanks for sharing your platform.
Are you saying you're going to share it at a later time? What you got going on Long Island for August 11th?
Yeah, I've been online. I've been on for a long time already. I don't want to hog the privilege.
Okay. Well, why don't you? We can do a special video. We could just do a live stream or something. If you want to talk to me over the phone and do it later.
Yeah, sure. Also, I didn't think you were going to let me go on like that, but I need to put my notes together.
Sure. Well, it's important. So
before I do it, one little thing I want you to check out. Check out the word earthquake and compare it to the word Long Island and see how they match up. Earthquake and Long Island. It's a super match in all 4 ciphers.
Huh. Interesting.
But I'll share the rest of the decode.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, just get in touch with me and we can do a special live stream on it. So.
All right. You can, I'll get my notes together. You can contact me when you want me to do it.
Okay. Sounds good, man. You have a good night. Yeah. Take care, man. All right. From one New York caller to the next.
Hey, Jack. How's it going, man?
What's up?
Hey, I wanted to, I had a couple of more notes on the, and I messaged you earlier about the death of Elvis Presley.
Right.
And, you know, how he died on the 228th day, you know, of the year like that. And, you know, it's 137 days left in the year.
The same day Aretha Franklin ended up dying on.
Right. I did a lot more digging. I have a lot more, you know, there's a lot coded in his death because I looked up what his last concert was, and it was in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Huh.
And we know Indiana's 137.
Huh.
And the day of his last concert was June 26th. That was the 177th day of the year. Leaves 188 days left in the year, like Bavarian Illuminati, New World Order.
Right.
The arena that he performed at, Market Square Arena, equals 188.
Huh.
We know Indianapolis, Indiana's on the 39th meridian north. You know, Elvis Presley, 167, 39th prime.
You know what else about that number 188 with Elvis? There's a casino that he performed at more than any other casino in Vegas. I think it's the Westgate, and I know that he performed 188 concerts at whatever casino that is. So that number, I wonder how many times that came up in his career.
Also, I did a little more digging and said I looked up when the day that they buried Elvis, and it's reported that they buried him on August 18th. You know, 18/8.
I bet you that number's all throughout his career. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Also, too, you know, Elvis Presley is 57 to 19th prime. Indiana's the 19th state. You know, his last concert.
Interesting.
Also, I found it kind of interesting too is that his full name in satanic is 811.
Huh.
Throw that in there.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, yeah, and in Jewish order, no, Indianapolis, Indiana is 167 as well.
Very interesting. Well, good work, Michael. I'll have to look into that some more. Yeah, great finds.
Thank you, Zach. You have a good night, man.
All right. Yeah. Take care. Nice. Let's see. That's funny. The next caller's from Indiana. Perfect. Indiana.
What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man, sorry for trying to call on the live stream earlier, man. I didn't know you were on there.
Oh, it's okay.
Hey, I wanted to like say thank you to you and everybody today, though, man. Wow, I've been working pretty hard the last few days, as maybe a lot of people might realize. I am dead sick of us just kind of doing the same thing every day and just looking at videos and, you know, just sitting in a standstill. It just feels like a standstill, and we're just getting ran over every day by our government and by sports and, you know, the media and everybody out here. And I've been just mass friend requesting like everybody on Facebook and pages and doing stuff, and it's actually working. We've had about daily dose of Gematria has been A page for about 9 months, 10 months. I got about 400 videos posted, and I've had a couple admins here and there at all times, but I've never had like 3, 4, or 5. And I think we have about 70 or 80 right now in the last 2 days. So we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's going to kind of be like, what's that game, like Pop Farm, where you build a casino, or I'm on meds, guys. Sorry. What's the game, where everybody's working on the farm? You know what I mean? Help me out, Zach.
I don't know.
Man, those games. Well, nobody else can talk, man. Anyways, man, like Sim City or something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We're all gonna be doing like stuff, bro. We're gonna be advertising. We're gonna be on posts, just doing everything, man. Like all the stuff that I do by myself. I mean, we're gonna have like 80 or 100 people do, and then those 80 people can turn into 400 people, and those 400 people can turn into 2,000 people. And when I built the page, I said we're gonna go to DC, man, and I think it's gonna happen pretty soon, bro. Sorry, I'm all on meds. I'm having trouble like getting it all out, and I'm back in the hospital and stuff, but working hard, man. And I just want to tell everybody thank you, man. It's been a long few days.
Well, get better, man. And I do appreciate you spreading the word and getting more people involved. And that's been my goal all this time, but it's taken a lot longer than I thought. So do appreciate the help.
God, I mean, yeah, this might be why I have my condition. I don't know. No, you're right, bro. And I've been screaming from the top of my lungs, and when you go on a sports post, on a baseball post, and you're like, you put a business card on there, and you're like, you tell them how it's rigged, and you put the riddle in there, and then you get laughed at by like 3 or 4 people, and then but I don't know, man. Here recently, I'm really seeing a difference in people. Like even people in my personal life used to kind of laugh at me or ignore me or pass it off. I'm seeing people pay way more attention now recently. Things are seeming to be clear to people. I really think I think our voice is getting out there, bro. I mean, we're doing live streams. There's a lot of people helping out now, and I don't know. I'm seeing the difference, Zach. I really am, bro.
Well, that is good to hear.
What's that?
I said that's good to hear, man.
Yeah, I know you probably don't see a lot of it because you're just in your, you got your same routine in there and you doing your thing, man. But we're out here trying for you, bro. You deserve it. You've changed a lot of our lives, dude. I mean, I don't know how people can just sit and watch your videos and let you do all the work. I just don't get it, bro. I would be the first one to buy a business card, and that's something we can plug right now, I mean, guys, you can buy 100 cards for $10 or $17 for 500. Hand your cards out, man. It's fun. Go to a grocery store. I'm here in the hospital, and about every nurse in this hospital in the last 12 days has a business card, and I told them 4 Super Bowl riddles, the Sandy Hook riddle, the Las Vegas riddle, and whatever else one you can think of. And it takes 2 minutes to tell them a riddle. And then they're you tell them 1 or 2 riddles, hand them the card, and then they're like, and this is something they've never heard of before. And the easiest way, Zach, you go to someone, you're like, hey, do you think terrorists did 9/11? And they're like, yeah. You hand them a card, and then you tell them the 77 and 11 riddle, and then you move to the Sandy Hook riddle. I mean, it's just like a routine. And then if it's a guy, you can tell him the football riddle. So Tom Brady, he's been 4 of them, and they're easy to memorize.
Sure.
Go to Daily Dose of Gematria inbox. Say, hey, Rich, can you tell me the riddles? And I'll type them out and copy and paste it. And then you can tell them to people. This is what we have to do to wake up enough people to go burn the fucking White House down, bro. I mean, in plain words.
Sure. I love that you're in a hospital bed telling all the nurses about this and spreading the word. I think that's quite the story. So, yeah, Rich, I wish everyone had your enthusiasm and willingness, but most people don't. That's the difference.
Well, you know what else I did, bro? I grabbed my stack of cards here in my bag, I left them in here when I got checked out yesterday, but actually they called me back in because they had an oversight, so I had to come back in the hospital, so I'm back in here. I'm not in really bad shape. I'm just waiting on the biopsy and stuff. But yeah, bro, I don't give a fuck. Oh, wait, I'm not allowed to cuss on this one, am I? I'm sorry.
We're not supposed to cuss on here, right?
Bro, you guys, this is our life, man. That's why I'm so passionate about this. This isn't an act. This isn't like, oh, Rich wants to be funny. Think about it, guys. Just think about it. I'm going to keep typing the riddles out on Facebook every day. I'm in the hospital. I got nothing else to do. Just think about it, guys. Inbox me, say, Rich, I want the riddles. I'll type you 6 riddles. If you have those 6 riddles and you show them to any person on the planet, now they know everything's set up. Would you agree with that, Zach?
Well, you would hope, but cognitive dissonance is a real thing, so.
Well, if you connect the football game with the 9/11, and you connect then you got the Marshawn Lynch one, and then you got the Sandy Hook one, and then you got the Vegas one over here. When you put them out on the table and scatter them out and look at it, and then it just how can not everything? It just proves it. It's proof, dude. It's proof.
It is,
but
so many people just don't want to see.
The government has no right, bro. The government, well, yeah, they don't want to see or whatever, but the government, like, they have no right to tell me nothing, man. You know, that's the way I look at it. I don't.
Well, that is the truth. That is the truth. Well, I mean, you have to realize the only thing more obvious than what we're exposing on this channel in the world is what's going on in the sky, and think how few people recognize that. So that's what we're dealing with.
I haven't been seeing that as much. Have you?
Oh, I've been seeing it just as much. So.
Okay. In my area, it hasn't been doing it as much. They must have their little sections that they do, you know, at certain times.
I do think that's the way it is.
I haven't seen that in a few months.
Yeah. All right, man.
We all need to start making phone calls. I don't want to keep up all the time, but we need to start all making phone calls. 1 million phone calls a day, man. Everybody just on the phone, calling them, cussing them out, telling them what piece of crap they are, telling them they're rigged. You know, all of it. Call every stadium, every sports stadium, call every mayor's office every day, bro. I just call them and cuss them out and call them worthless pieces of crap every single day, bro. You know what I mean? It's thousands and thousands of phone calls a day. What would you say if you were that person? You'd have to answer to it sooner or later, right?
Well, sure. If you were getting that many calls every day, you would. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, but you know, if I made 50 calls a day and you made 50 calls a day and the other 80,000 people made 50,000 calls a day, I mean, you know what I mean, bro? Even if 50,000 people make 10 calls a day.
Sure.
These people would know that we're spitting there staring down at them. We got to do that. I'm trying to change people's mindset here, bro. I'm not just flipping out here on the phone. I'm pissed, dude. And I can't wait for Philadelphia either.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
I hope a bunch of you guys go to Philadelphia. I hope a bunch of you guys better get ready to go to Philadelphia, because I'll run around that town that day with business cards. We're going to have to order about 5-10 cases of cards. Zach, I can tell you that right now. And you're going to see, I'm going to be up all over that town, bro. I got energy. I ain't no lazy bum, bro.
Well, that's
I hope everybody listening on this phone isn't either. Go to Daily Dose of Gematria and ask how you can share this work too, because we're doing things. And I'm not going to keep up all the time. I love all y'all, but I'm a pissed off mother effer tonight.
All right, man. Well, don't get too worked up, because as we both know, you got to get better too. So, but I do appreciate the passion, man.
Brother. I am already better. I'm on the meds. I got the dialysis, and I'm just waiting on the results, bro. I am better. I am ready to kick some ass, bro.
Well, I do appreciate it, man. But be sure to get some rest too. All right, friend. You have a good night, man. Stay strong.
I am, bro. Hey, you too, Mr. Headaches every day. Go get your stuff checked, like I said. Damn it.
Yeah, I need to. All right, man.
He's got, hey, everybody. Yeah, Bug Zach. He's got the same headaches I had for every day for a year, and he could have the same kidney problems I got. But I'll get off the phone and let the next caller go. Love you all. Bye.
All right. Take care, man. All right. We just got 30 seconds till the break. I believe who's on hold is Derek, the man who built us the great calculator. So I think Derek's up next. Then we got Pinehurst, Texas, Las Vegas, Richmond, California, Delaware, New Jersey, Grand Prairie, Texas, New York, Vermont, Chula Vista, California, Philadelphia, Milwaukee. And if you're patient, we'll definitely get to your call. The music should be kicking in here any second. We got the short commercial break, and then we will be back with Derek. I believe that is who was on hold. So sit tight. And we got 2 hours of show left. Be right back, Truth Seeker. All right. On the commercial break, sorry if you're listening on the phone. This is annoying because you hear my voice in the commercials, but just in case you haven't been paying attention the last few months, or maybe just tuned in on the commercial breaks, I've been interacting with the live chat on YouTube. So you're welcome to join there. Somebody's got a question for Derek when he comes back. This person noticed that how is it again? If you write infinity in the calculator, what is it with a capital I? Let me try something else out. I forget. There's something weird about Derek's calculator. If you type in the word infinity, yeah, if you type in infinity and you capitalize the I, it doesn't load where it saves the words down below. If you're familiar with the calculator, it works with a lowercase I though. So I do got to ask Derek about that. Why is it that way? Is it just some glitch in the system? I will ask him about that. And somebody else has a question for Derek. Ask Derek why match function rarely works. And look at the Mara Luna Festival, August 11th. Thank you, friend. I think you already gave us a super chat. Very generous to do too. Please no more. Too much generosity. Mara Luna Festival. Let me make a note of that. I will look into it. It's in Germany. Okay. It's on the days of Tisha B'Av. Perfect. I think that's the anniversary of the establishment of the Weimar Republic in Germany. All right. Somebody said Cairo 7 attacked a YouTube channel. I'll have to look into that. I don't care for that YouTube channel at all. When was the last time I smoked weed? I don't know, a long time ago. I hardly ever smoke now. So more information on Elvis. Good work, Michael. What's up, Frank? Tried peppermint oil for the headaches. Okay, I'll look into that. Peppermint oil.
Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Don't watch. don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Election authority. This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got 2 hours left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way, and I believe this is Derek. Is that you, Derek? Oh, hold on, it didn't work. Let me try that again. Derek, is that you?
Zach, it's me. How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
Doing well. Thanks for calling in.
I hope the summer finds you well so far.
It's been okay, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. I could tell just before the commercial break there, it sounds like I'm not going to be able to get away with being on the show without answering a couple questions. So if you had anything ready, you might as well get those out of the way. And then in trade, I got a killer decode for you on the Angels-Mariners fiasco no-hitter from last Friday.
Okay, sounds good. Somebody just said they noticed if you type in the word infinity with a capital I, that it doesn't register in the save list.
That's right. It's something to do with JavaScript. And they must be using an older version of the calculator, I believe, because when I type infinity in the normal calculator, the normal version, it seems to give you the normal result.
Did you do that with a lowercase I or uppercase I?
With both. It should work in the new website. What about you, Zach? Does it work on the standard calculator for you?
It doesn't work with the uppercase I, but it does with the lowercase I.
Really? Okay. Strange, because on my browser it does.
Huh.
I wonder if it's something to do with JavaScript. It reads the infinity input as if it were an infinity variable and then screws it all up. So it sends to 106 though, and 110 reverse for anyone who's wondering.
Sure. So another question was, ask Derek why, why match function rarely works.
The short answer to that is I don't know. It works for me. It works for some other people, but there seems to be certain browsers, certain types that it doesn't work for. The long answer to that would be, I taught myself enough programming to make a calculator. I tried to implement a number of other things. In fact, my website started crashing a whole lot after I expanded the database functionality inside of it. And that's why some of the things are disabled. Like it's no longer capturing people's entries into tables. Some functions don't work. I had to change the number properties page. And there were a couple of features I tried to add that didn't work out well. And I was kind of getting diminishing returns on all the extra hours I was plugging into the website. So it's not a dead website by any means, but there are things that don't work on it. And like I said, I felt like I was getting diminishing returns on my time on it. So yeah, I'm not sure. It's beyond my understanding of web programming at this point.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it still works great, and I mean, it does everything it needs to do. I've noticed that sometimes the match function works and sometimes it doesn't, but I'm still very happy with it. So
well, I mean, it used to be that the website sometimes didn't work, and now we're seeing a lot more stability, and that's due to some of the changes, and they are related to the search and match not working all the time. So my apologies to everybody out there, but that's the best I can do.
Well, it's a good job you did, so we all appreciate it. Thank you.
Right on. Yeah, it's my gift to the world for sure.
So as far as the decode, then, if that's it for the palette of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So what I've noticed over the past couple of years decoding baseball games is that the winning and losing pitchers have strong numeric relations to the event. Now, this past Friday, for those who aren't aware, the Los Angeles Angels played their first home game since the death of one of their players, Tyler Skaggs. And in that game, all the players on the Angels wore number 45, which was Skaggs' number. Well, in that game, not only did they blow out the Seattle Mariners 13-0, but it was also a combined no-hitter. In fact, it was the first combined no-hitter to be thrown in the state of California since the exact date Tyler Skaggs was born. And these numerical coincidences, or oddities, as they put it in the LA Times, was so strong that the mainstream media actually did their own numerology article about this game. So, you can look it up yourself. LA Times, Tyler Skaggs, tribute game, however it may be. And they did a little numerology post on it. But of course, they don't tell you about gematria and date measurements. And therein lies the real riddle. And we uncovered this with Bill Buckner earlier this year. Bill Buckner, former Red Sox player, committed that famous error. He died the same day the Red Sox won their game. The name Buckner, using the alphabetic order, equals 74. So does the word error. And that's pretty funny, considering Bill Buckner is known for one of the most famous errors in the history of baseball. And he died of Lewy body dementia, which also sums to 74 in reduction. Now, the winning pitcher for the Red Sox that same date that Buckner died was Eduardo Rodriguez, who was born on the date 7/4, or the 7th of April. And also in the alphabetic order, Buckner's full name, William Joseph Buckner, sums to 226. This pitcher was born exactly 2,260 weeks after Bill Buckner. Strangely enough, his nickname was El Gualo, this pitcher, which sums to 73, the same as sacrifice. That was also the same gematria as Felix Pena, who started this game for the Los Angeles Angels, also summing to 73. Well, let's quickly take it from the top and look at the score of the game. The Angels won this game by a score of 13.
Hold on. I got to interrupt just before you move on. I just want to remind people that when Bill Buckner died, he died on the 147th day of the year at age 69. And World Series equals 147 and 69. And, of course, he's remembered for that error in the 86 World Series, and blood sacrifice is 86. And his death had a lot to do with the number 71, just like the death of Tyler Skaggs had a lot to do with 71, just like the last Los Angeles Angels pitcher to die. His death had a lot to do with 71. So anyway, please, back to what you were saying.
You're right. Boston Red Sox 71, Bill Buckner 71, dementia 71, and he died on a date with 71 numerology. Right. Now here this year, July 1st, 7-1, LA Angels equals 71, and Tyler Skaggs has the same gematria as 71. So spot on there. And Bill Buckner's death was totally aligned with the Red Sox World Series wins this past year. His death was 211 days later. Ritual human sacrifice equals 211. So that's a whole other decode in its own right. Now, with the Angels scoring 13 runs, think about how LA, the 12th and first letter, sums to 13. Also in the alphabetic order, human sacrifice equals 130. And the Angels won 13-0, like 130. They also had 13 hits, and the Mariners had none. The fans were flying a flag that game called We're Nasty, which also sums to 130. And Tyler Skaggs, not only was he born on the 13th day of the month, July 13th, 1991, but if you add 7 plus 13 plus 19 plus 91, you get a sum of 130. So 13 was the perfect number for this game. Now, if you write out 13, you'll find that in both reduction methods, the word 13 sums to 45. The name Tyler Skaggs equals 45. He wore number 45. And the starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels in this game was Taylor Cole, whose name also sums to 45 and 144. They both match in both numbers. And just think about the name Tyler Skaggs, Taylor Cole, right? Very similar. So the number 13 in the alphabetic order sums to 99. And this starting pitcher, Taylor Cole, was born exactly 99 weeks after Tyler Skaggs. So the name Skaggs equals 19 in reduction. This pitcher, Taylor Cole, was exactly 10,919 days old, 2 19s. The 19th prime number is 67. Taylor Cole wears number 67. His name also sums to the same as combined no-hitter, by the way. Next, we look at the winning pitcher, Felix Pena. His name sums to 73, just like Sacrifice. But what's interesting is that he wears number 64. The name Skaggs equals 64. This is the only other pitcher for the Angels to pitch that day. He finished the game for the Angels. The pitcher who finished the game for the Mariners was David McKay, and he also wears number 64. Skaggs was born on the date 7/13. Pena was 7 months, 13 days after his birthday. But here's where it gets really interesting, and if it isn't already. Think about how Skaggs died at the age of 27. Now, this year's total solar eclipse was on the date 2/7, or the 2nd of July. This win pushed Felix Pena's record to 7-2. He was born exactly 72 weeks before Tyler Skaggs. Number 27 for the Angels is Mike Trout. He hit the first home run of the game. The Angels scored 7 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second. Skaggs died on 7 + 1 + 19 equals 27. His death was 207 days after another Angels player, Luis Valbuena, died. And not only is Mike Trout 27 years old, but he was also 27 days before his birthday. This home run, if you include the postseason, was the 270th of his career. The losing pitcher for this game for the Mariners was Mike Leake. His name in ordinal sums to 72. The name Mike equals 38. He was exactly 380 months old. Death, killing, murder, all equal 38. I love that his ERA after the game was 4.6. His career ERA was 4.06. The Angels won this game to give themselves a record of 46-46. No hitter equals 46. LA Angels 46. Sacrifice equals 46. Mike Leake, by the way.
Hold on. Don't miss the most important 46 of that day. Do you know what the story was in Seattle the morning before the game?
Please tell me.
They had a 4.6 earthquake, reportedly.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, that was the big giveaway. That was the clue in the news for what they had planned for that night. And the other kick is if you write out Angels in the outfield, it sums to 206, which is the Seattle area code, who they were playing. So, yeah.
Excellent. And that's another sacrifice number, 206 in Jewish Gematria.
Right. Exactly.
So what's so wild about this, and I'll touch on the eclipse thing, this whole thing, it's not so much aligned with the eclipse as it occurred around the eclipse, right? So we understand these sacrifices are coded accordingly, but, the phrase total eclipse sums to 137, and it extended sums to 713. Well, Tyler Skaggs was born on the 13th of July, also written 7/13. And I just glanced at the Bible. I was just kind of curious, like this 713 number is so important, right? Well, it's the 8th verse of the Bible is the first one that sums to 713 in ordinal. And it's about God calling the firmament heaven. And think about how this angel is now in heaven, supposedly, right? And as far as number 8, the Mariners' losing pitcher, Mike Leake, wears number 8. The Angels' number 8 is Justin Upton, and he also hit a home run in that game. As far as the eclipse thing, I don't want to clog it up too much with that, but there's a lot of riddles there. Basically, his birthday, the 7/13. Tyler Skaggs would have been a span of exactly 28 years old and 0 days on the date of this game. In Hebrew, total solar eclipse equals 280. Total eclipse equals 227. He would have also been 10,227 days old. And then one last thing about this with the eclipse code, and this is something Zenith pointed out a while ago, and I wasn't sure about it at first, but it's absolutely part of this code. It's massive. We're talking about the digit 713. Well, if you arrange them differently, you get 173. Now, if you turn that number upside down, 173, it becomes the word Eli. And during the crucifixion in the gospel, Jesus screamed from the cross, Eli, Eli, which is to say, my God, my God. And the winning pitcher, Felix Pena, look at his first name, Felix. It has Eli right in the middle of it. And he was exactly 10,730 days old on the date of this game, like 173. So it's interesting how there's these little numbers of the Eclipse code that they always stamp in there. And I thought that was a really wild example, especially with, Eli being right there in his name. So just fascinating stuff. I mean, like I said, the LA Times did their own decode, but not until you understand Gematria do you really get the full buffet. And that's what this game definitely provided. So that's all I got on this game. And I guess I'll throw it back to you.
Sure. Did you see how his death connected to the last Angels pitcher to die?
Well, you're talking about Nick Adenhart, right? Because I have a couple things on that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Tyler Skaggs was drafted the same year that he died, and Nicholas Adenhart equals 71, and the name Adenhart 71, and then Skaggs goes on to die on July 1st, 353 days after his own birthday, which is the 71st prime. Plus, there's just a whole lot more to it. But, Skaggs was drafted the year that the last Angels pitcher died. So you got to say, what a coincidence. But,
and this is my take on that whole connection here. I just want to add a couple things, and I'm going to point out how I think it's related to the eclipse. So in Sumerian Gematria, which is the alphabetic order times 6, total solar eclipse equals 1212. And think about Tyler Skaggs' name, 144, which is 12 times 12. Well, also in that Sumerian cipher, the name Nicholas James Adenhart equals 1200. And if you measure from the date he was born, Nick Adenhart, to the date that Tyler Skaggs died and the total eclipse, he was exactly, or would have been exactly, 12,000 days old. Now, the 12th prime number is 37, and that eclipse was 3,737 days after Nick Adenhart died. Tyler Skaggs also used to wear number 37. So that was some of the connections I picked up on as far as, eclipse numerology. By the way, they also died 10 years, 84 days apart. LA Angels equals 184. So
perfect.
Yeah, that's my take.
Well, great work, Derek. Yeah. Just next time you do it, make sure you get that piece in about the earthquake. It was funny because, the week before there was big earthquakes in British Columbia, and then days later there was earthquakes down in Southern California. And I said, how long do we have to wait for the earthquake up in the Pacific Northwest? And it ended up being synced with this whole ritual with LA. So, yeah.
It's wild, man. And it's crazy to see all this earthquake symbolism that we've been seeing for years slowly come into fruition, it seems, right? I mean, it's seems to be how it works, though. So, thanks for the time, Zach.
Well, hold on. Before you leave, have you done any work on the death of the Supreme Court Justice and how it syncs up with Aaron Judge?
That was one of the posts. Okay, I read your post on that, and I was like, that post is so good. Why do I need to do a post? I mean, it was like, I don't know how I could do it any better. I mean, the fact that it was related to Aaron Judge, who got hurt on the guy's birthday, right? I mean, that's incredible stuff.
Well, I'm sure you'll find something else. So, yeah, you should look into it.
All right, right on. I'll tell you what, I'll sign off here, and I'll take a glance and run some numbers and maybe throw a post up tonight.
Okay, sounds good, man. Good to hear from you. You take care.
All right, Zach. Take care, buddy. We'll talk to you later. Have a good show.
Yeah, have a good night, man. For people who don't know, I imagine most of you do. For people who don't know, we just had the death of the Supreme Court Justice at age 99. And one of the biggest stars in baseball right now is Aaron Judge, who wears the number 99, a number that baseball players don't wear. Aaron Judge was supposedly injured this year on April 20th, which is the birthday of John Paul Stevens, who just died. And what's interesting is Supreme Court Justice sums to 81. It also sums to 99. John Paul Stevens just died 81 days after Aaron Judge's birthday, right? And then the other kicker is Aaron Judge equals 57, John Paul Stevens equals 57, Supreme Court equals 57. Aaron Judge also happens to sum to 174, so does Supreme Court. And Aaron Judge just recently returned from his injury on his 57th day of his age. But check out the video I put out on it. There's a few other things. The name Judge equals 88. John Paul Stevens died on his 88th day of his age. So most people would never question the death of a 99-year-old, but telling you, all these people that serve, on the Supreme Court, federal government, they all seemingly go out by this code. And again, it goes to what I've been showing for years. It's a world of Manchurians. You got Manchurian athletes. I mean, if anybody's ever seen Aaron Judge before, he looks like he came straight out of a test tube. His head's all deformed. He's a beast of a man. And, from elected office to the sports field, what I've been saying, these people are born and named accordingly, and everything is perfectly planned and coordinated. So the Supreme Court Justice death at age 99 is just the latest example. Let's go out to Pinehurst, Texas. Pinehurst, Texas, are you there? Maybe you're just listening. Let me see. Well, hopefully they're just listening. All right, let's go out to Las Vegas, Nevada.
I'm on the line now. What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, man, nothing much, man. Those were two great decodes. I like the decodes by Derek and by Rambo, man. Those were great decodes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Derek for making the calculator, man. He's awesome, dude.
Indeed.
Very, very awesome. And as far as Rambo, when he's talking about the Venus decode, the number 54, I think that's interesting because the Super Bowl coming up is Super Bowl number 54. So with those 54s, we could see some signs of who's going to win the Super Bowl next year. I think that is interesting. Those 54s, it could give us a clearer hint of who's going to win that, considering that it is the 54 Super Bowl this year.
Sure.
But I wanted to bring up a point that I seen earlier. So I was playing a video game earlier, and in the video game, there was a part in the game where you have to go on the San Francisco Bridge, and there was like a whole fighting scene on that bridge, and it's a newer game, and I just kind of thought about 8/11, August 11th that's coming up, and it just makes you really wonder because now I'm starting to see it everywhere. I'm even seeing it in video games now, so it's like, it has me like, kind of thinking about it a little bit more, but yeah, man, the Tyler Skaggs riddle with the 4.6 earthquake, I think that's a trip. There's a lot of trippy stuff going on, with these earthquakes and stuff. And I'm just praying that nothing big does happen on August 11th, but it's really looking like it, in spite of everything that's happening,
The other thing I'll remind people about the whole Skaggs ritual is the word chaos equals 46 and 19, and the name Skaggs equals 19. And in that tribute game, they brought their record to 46 and 46, and that happened shortly after the earthquakes by the numbers in San Francisco. Again, for people who don't know, that July 4th earthquake was 1,776 days from the last major earthquake in California, the Napa quake. You got to say, what are the odds of that? A 7.4 quake, 1,776 days from the last one. But
absolutely.
So
absolutely. You know what? I just thought about it. So what I wanted to mention about that game was that in the game they kept talking about order. They kept talking about in the game the characters kept mentioning that they don't want to break the order. And when I kept hearing that word order, I'm thinking about the New World Order and how they just like, they don't want to break the order or the code that they have to follow. And I think that's really what the problem is that people in the industry and in higher up positions, they make oaths and they make sacrifices in order to keep their position of power. And in order to keep that position of power, they refuse to break the oath or the order that they're given, you know? And that's where the world will start to change, because I think in order to change, we need somebody of big influence who has a sort of a grip over people's minds, that you can, so to speak, you know, because there's certain people that just have more influence than other people, because of the way that the mainstream people or the mainstream mind sees that person, you know. And I think that's really where the awakening has to happen. I think it has to happen with somebody in a higher up position, and come out and say, look, this is what's going on and this is what's happening, you know? But it's just that people make so many sacrifices. Literally, they make blood sacrifices, you know? They sacrifice their own family members. They do all types of rituals and just different things to keep that power and position at the expense of other people.
Indeed.
You know?
Pause right there because we're going to commercial. Sit tight. We'll be right back after the break.
Coming in.
Okay, we're on the quick break, interacting with the chat during the break. Let's see. What's interesting about the death of the Supreme Court justice yesterday is it was 17 weeks and 4 days after Ruth Bader Ginsburg's birthday. 17-4 against Supreme Court equals 174. I'm sure she is the next justice we'll get a headline about. So she is 86 years old right now, that infamous number. El Chapo got 30 years in prison. Guess what El Chapo equals? If you said 30, you're a winner. I think King Fibonacci's dropping quotes from the Matrix. Let's see. What the caller was just talking about, you know, the sacrifice and, you know, keeping secrets and all that. Just this past week, we had the death of a Boston Celtic, a new Boston Celtic, a young man who was just drafted into the NBA by the Celtics. And if I remember correctly, his father just died, found dead in a hotel room on July 11th in West Haven, Connecticut. West Haven's 117, like how he was found dead on 11/7. But his father's name equaled 182, and the father died 182 days after the player's birthday, plus a few other things. I have a video up on it, but this stuff's just clockwork. It goes on every single year, drafts, playoffs, championships, just people dropping dead in connection to these players, sometimes the players themselves. And somehow, some way, you know, the truth community doesn't want to share this knowledge. You know, other than the few people who've created their own channels and spread this work. But I mean, there's just so many supposedly respected truth channels that they just don't touch this subject at all. They want to talk about stuff that's just completely irrelevant, you know. So let's see. What happened to my eyes? I don't know what you mean. Do you mean why am I wearing the glasses? I'm wearing the glasses because my eyes started to hurt this year, probably from working in front of a computer screen the way I do for 6 years straight. So, guess just getting older. I think we're coming back from the break here. All right, we're back. Truth Seeker, we're taking your calls. I see someone in the chat is saying another athlete just dropped dead at the age of 36. To look into that. But the last caller got interrupted by the commercial break, so let me go back to them. And we'll continue on with everybody else's calls. So if you're waiting patiently on hold, please continue. I will get to your call as quickly as possible. And as a reminder, if people who do call in, if you could just keep it to one concise thought, one question, it'll help us get through the line. So let's go back out to Las Vegas.
Yeah, so I'm gonna finish this up here, and hold on, just some backlash. I can hear myself in the background.
How's that? Is it better now?
Yeah, there we go. So, what I was getting to was that, when I watch TV, and I look at, because I actually stopped watching television about a year and a half ago. I just completely stopped watching it. And I used to look at ESPN, but once I found out about the scripting, I just stopped watching it. But when I do watch it occasionally, when it's just on or whatever, and I look at the announcer or the people in the media, they look like they're completely gone. They don't even look like they're even real. Like they are screwed. Those people are screwed. Those people you see on television, they're done. They're so pawns. It's crazy. But people have to keep that in mind that, because some people see people on TV and they want to be like these guys, and I'm like, these guys are pawns. They're tools. It's so bad. But anyway, I wanted to talk about ways you can deprogram your mind. Because I think that's how we're actually going to change this. Is everybody has one responsibility, and that's to work on yourself. If everybody works on themselves individually, this thing will change for sure. But everybody has realized that everybody's singly important. Whether it's me, the next person, or whoever, your job is to get yourself awake and get yourself online. Because that's going to build a stronger bridge and a stronger force for other people to climb onto that bridge and waking up themselves. But you have to start off with your individual self, first of all. That's why I try to focus on myself and getting myself right, meaning eating healthier, deprogramming my mind, gathering the information that's necessary in order for me to understand what's going on in the world. And I think if everybody sticks to that responsibility solely, yeah, things will change for the better, for sure. But everybody doesn't see themselves as important. Everybody thinks it has to be somebody else to change or this or that. No, it starts with yourself. Just change yourself, and then other things can happen for you. And like some of the things you can do are very simple. Just stop watching television as much as you do. You don't have to stop watching television completely, but start off with a little bit and work your way up. And then eventually, stop feeding into that. What else? Eating healthier. Eating healthier definitely clears your mind and opens up your vision to see what's going on, because a lot of the foods we eat block our vision and block our energy from seeing what's going on. What else are some of the things you can do? Exercising. Exercising is always good too. That relaxes you and keeps your mind open and aware. And just keeping yourself away from mainstream media. Anything mainstream media, try to stay away from it, because the mainstream media is just trying to steer your mind in a certain direction, and you don't want to go in that direction that they want you to go. So,
Right.
That's all I have for today, Zach. But, great decodes with Derek and Rambo. Keep up the good work, man.
All right, appreciate it, friend.
Hopefully everybody understands that.
All right, man, I appreciate it. You have a good night, brother. Take care, man.
Yeah.
See, I like that guy, but I know him because he'll say like goodbye like 5 times, and he'll be like, and then he'll say something else. It's like that. Trust me, that guy would talk for 24 straight hours after he told you he was peacing out 23 hours ago. But I still love that guy. But I mean, just every time, man, he can't stop talking. Let's go out to Richmond, California.
Hey, how's it going, Zach, man? Really, I was just listening tonight, man. Derek had great decode tonight, and just want to say, keep up the good work.
All right, appreciate it, friend. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go out to Delaware.
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not too much.
Yeah, I'll keep it short for you. I got something special. Yeah, I just want to talk about the MLB and talk about the NFL. So I found a story about Richie Incognito running into a funeral home, supposedly wanting to chop off his dead father's head. And the incident occurred July 12th, 2019, and his father died. What I'm looking at a TMZ article from August 22nd, 2018, saying Richie Incognito's dad's unexpected death was traumatic. Some people were saying that the cause of him running into the funeral home was either like a roid rage or the or like CTE or whatever. But from the date of his retirement, which was record at April 18th, 2018, up until the incident July 12th, 2019, is a span of 64 weeks, and he was number 64. Also, the date he retired had a date in numerology of 33. And from the date that his dad died, the date that's recorded, August 22nd, 2018, to the day of the accident, is a span of 46 weeks. And Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice, if I'm not mistaken. And some of the numbers that I found on the story, Richie Incognito's name equals 85, just like National Football League. They said that he ran into a funeral home. Funeral home equals 53. There's a 53-man roster in the NFL, and also funeral home equals 118, like death. The word funeral equals 77. Some people are saying that some people are saying that the cause of him going into the funeral home was because of a roid rage. Roid rage equals 77, just like funeral, and also roid rage equals 139. They're emphasizing that this was a funeral home accident or incident. Funeral home incident equals 97, which is a 25th prime number, and it also equals 101, which is the 26th prime number.
You know what I noticed that you always miss in your decodes is you don't do the date. If you're doing the date, you're going to miss everything. So, like, look at the day that this news broke. July 12th, 2019. That's a date with 38 and 58 numerology. Oakland's 58. Raiders is 38, who he played for. And then you made the point about 64 and his jersey number and how long it was from his retirement. Look at what day the NFL said he could return. September 16th, 2019, which is a date with 64 numerology. So, you know, that's obviously what's going on here. This has something to do with the Raiders season and their upcoming schedule and maybe his return to the NFL after saying he was going to retire. Yeah. So again, man, because you'll decode all these details and it's great, but if you're not doing the date numerology, you're going to miss why it happened on that date. You did get from how long it was his retirement, but I see right away in the date it happened, the big numbers that matter, the numbers that connect to the Oakland Raiders.
Father's head equals 58. You want to call it his father's head.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
And father's 58 alone. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll look more into the story, man.
The story might have. Yeah, it might have something to do with the upcoming NFL season or like the prior NFL season.
I'm sure it has something to do with both.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, well, I think it's crazy how even ever since the guy from the Angels died, like some of these teams that have been interconnected with the pitcher, like some of these teams have been doing good. Cause I was telling one of my friends that like I kind of been like winning money off of the Angels and like the Nationals. I know that Corbin Bauer and Max Scherzer, some of these pitchers were friends with him, and a couple other guys from the Brewers and the Braves, and yeah, I just think it's kind of sickening. Like even how you mentioned it, like how like kind of like winning money off this guy's death, kind of prior to like to how like in 2009 when the Yankees went up against the Angels in their American League Championship game, and there might be a clue when the last time the Philadelphia Phillies and the LA Dodgers played each other 10 years ago in the National League championship game. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Philadelphia Phillies beat them 4-2 back in 2009 when they faced the Yankees.
Right. Yeah. All right, man. Well, great work. I appreciate the heads up on this story.
You're welcome.
All right, brother. You have a good night, man. Take care.
You too.
Yeah, and the other piece to look into would be his father's death. I want to know what day that happened. So, The Raiders are known for being a bizarre team, and that's a bizarre story. Let's go out to New Jersey. Let me try that again. For some reason, it's not, the functionality doesn't work. It's like you unmute it, but it doesn't unmute. Let's try that again. New Jersey. Weird.
What's up, man?
Oh, there we go. It worked. All right, great.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. Can you hear me?
All right. So is there a group running all of this, all of these numbers, or do you think we just live in a giant simulation?
Well, there's theories, but the code's important to Freemasonry. So I think a lot of this has to do with Freemasonry. This code's very important to them. I just did a long video on this yesterday. So some of it's...
Yeah, I'm new to the channel. So
okay, so go ahead. Some of it's organic, but some of it's definitely orchestrated. Oh, he hung up. But yeah, watch the video I put out yesterday. I begin with the quotes from some Masons, and the Masons who kind of leaked that this was going on, that this code was being used and applied. So, but there's definitely an organic side. Let's go out to New York.
Oh, shit.
New York, you're on.
Yo, Zachary, what's good? It's to see through the Matrix. Ty Edwards talked, I think we talked like last month.
Yeah, what's up?
But what's going on? What's going on? Hey, man. Hey, what's going on with Mag? Mag called you out randomly on his live. He called you Zachary Hamburger.
Who?
And he's like, you went on it. He's Mad Truth. He was like how you went on his video and you was talking about learning Gematria. And he was like learning a whole bunch of numbers is no good or whatever. And I don't agree to that, but I just want to understand, like, is there like a beef or something's going on? Because, like, it's me. I like to watch you and I like to watch him. And I don't like choosing sides especially with information, because that's very dangerous, especially the stuff that you guys talk about. But I'm just wondering, like, was there any like a disagreement or a falling out or something?
No, I don't know him. I don't have any association with him. I don't know why he's, saying anything. So, but
yeah, that was very strange because he just brought it up out of nowhere, and I was listening to the live going, well, I don't get why you're doing this because Zachary ain't no shill, because if I would have seen y'all two beefing, and I actually commented on your video and I said this, if I would have saw y'all beefing, because you came on right after he went off, and I'm like, wait a minute. And if y'all was like actually beefing, I would be like, damn, you guys are chill, but you didn't pay it no mind. So, because it's like with this information that everybody's doing and everybody's talking about they doing true, very dangerous. It's very hard to trust people because they might turn around and become something else that you didn't expect them to be. And that tends to be a pattern within learning information, and that's very annoying. Because I feel like if that was to actually beef out, there was nobody else to look up to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. I don't know why he's saying anything. I don't have any problem with him. I haven't said anything to him, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird, but I'm gonna move on though. So on my blog, I basically did like a breakdown. Did you hear about Ice Day? I'm surprised you didn't do that. The Ice Day. So,
the Seattle ice incident. What happened up in Seattle, Tacoma?
No. Well, I don't know. I just saw the title and I just went with the story. I think it's a girl that they like from the ICE team, that's doing immigration. And there was like a still picture of her. And, Twitter's propaganda, so basically they made a big blow up about it. But what's funny was that on the day of July 14th, she made a Twitter, and what's funny is that her name is Kiara C, and KC is actually 14 in English Ordo. So that was like obviously propaganda and contrived. And like Kiara C is 25 in full reduction, and Ice Day is 25 in full reduction, and Kiki C is 25 in full reduction, and Kiki C is actually her nickname. And what's funny also is that what's connected is that Kiara C is 47 reverse full reduction, like government reverse full reduction for 47. And also too, she has a name on her Twitter handle, like I saw with Kiara C. It's actually Kiara Ace. I think it's Kiara Ace, but I didn't really look into the Kiara Ace. But when I saw like the 24, I was like, yeah, we know what 24 is because we reversed that, you get Freemason for 42. So, that was a very interesting thing. And also too, with government, with the reflection of 52 to 25 for CTC and Ice Day and CRC. So yeah, that was like a real deep connection. And even with government, with 137 reverse ordo, it connects with Ice Day with 137 reverse ordo. So yeah, I was like, yeah, this whole thing is contrived. And I took a shot and decoding it. I was surprised. It was a big deal on Twitter, so especially how I see like what they were doing, how they set up about how the camp was dirty and the whole drinking toilet situation, and I broke that down too on my blog about how fake that was, just to outrage the people. But I found it funny that last week we talked about drinking toilet water, then the next week we're talking about a so-called cute girl in ice, just to make it appealing. And even on the Twitter, the guys are like, ooh, she's sexy, she's nice looking and all that. So, just using the whole situation to appeal to ICE. So I was like, all right, this is just another mockery. And what's also true is that there's a picture of her wearing orange, and that's a Freemason color. And she's doing a salute with her glasses, which is another Freemason salute. And then she got her hand on her hip, another Freemason salute on a blue wall, which is a Freemason color. So, it's like a whole contrived situation that basically, they set up for the masses to go run for. So, so that's everything I got for you, Zachary. I just wanted to share that.
All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't know about this story. I actually hadn't heard about it until you just called in, but I do see it. It looks like it's a big story right now. So I'll do some research on it.
It was a stupid Twitter story. Yeah, it was like, that's what they do. They always use Twitter. Even like with the OJ thing, if you do all the gematria within the OJ, the day that he went on there, it all adds up to racism or something regarding to outrage. Like, it's all, how they work, man. Like, one thing about Twitter, because I see like you use like CNN headlines and a news headline. I noticed like I kind of like went another alternative route. I started using Twitter. And the things that happen on Twitter matching up with the actual numerology of the day, and that's kind of weird. And even when on Instagram, certain things that happen on there match up what's going on with the day also. So, they're not only using the Twitter, not only using CNN, they're also using social media to cause a stir, with contriving. So that was very interesting too.
All right, man. Well, great work.
Yeah, I'm over here, man.
I appreciate it.
All right, take care. Thank you.
All right, yeah, you have a good night.
All
Thank
right.
you. All right. Hopefully everybody could hear what he was saying. It was a little bit muffled, but yeah, Ice Bay. I'm gonna have to look into that one. Let's go out to Vermont. Vermont, are you there?
Hi, Zach. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Perfect.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about some of the stuff of August 11th coming up.
Okay.
And yeah, basically the last couple months, I was pretty sure that, it could have been a potential date to set up a false flag to get the Iran war going on, just because all of those news stories that were happening. But yeah, ever since July, it seems that everything is like earthquakes and natural disasters. So it seems like now they could be building up for something big revolving around that. So I just wanted to see if what your thoughts are on that.
Well, it's kind of what we've been speculating for a while, that it could be a natural disaster on August 11th, because again, natural disaster equals 223. August 11th is the 223rd day of the year. It's the date that HARP was patented. The full name for HARP sums to 223. They're having the Earthquake World Series Team Remembrance Day on that day in San Francisco. And yeah, so we've been speculating. And when I say natural disaster, it wouldn't really be a natural disaster, but that's how it'd be reported in the media. So it's in the way they do things, the way they hit us with, a whole bunch, like you just said. I mean, it was just Iran, and now that's kind of been wiped out with the more recent news stories. But that's how it is. I mean, they're just constantly keeping our heads spinning, and maybe on August 11th we get a natural disaster and something else. So you just don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like they would benefit more from a false flag rather than, say, an earthquake. The Rothschilds could finally get their central bank in Iran that they've been wanting. And you see how much benefits they had after the September 11th attack. They got all of the wars that they wanted. And yeah, I just have this intuitive feeling that, Trump was picked to be like the World War III president. So you have like Trump and Pence, which kind of sounds like trumpets,
right,
of revelations.
Right.
So yeah, it just seems like too strange to be a coincidence with that.
I agree. So.
And then one other thing that I wanted to ask you about, and I'm not sure how much you've researched this specific point, but I just want to see if you think that back in the 30s and 40s with World War II, the Third Reich and all that stuff, if you think that was organic, or do you think that could have been just like New World Order?
Absolutely not organic. Absolutely not organic. No, completely contrived. So you should read my book. I show how all the wars were manufactured by the numbers. So.
Yeah. I'm pretty new to your stuff, so I've been pretty curious to check out your book. So.
Yeah. So just for people who don't know, the Balfour Declaration was drafted November 2nd. God, what year was it? I forget the year, but it was around the time of World War I, and it was about creating the Zionist nation of Israel. And the reason they did it on November 2nd, 112, is because Zionist equals 112. So it was all planned. I mean, it was all a very well thought out plan.
Would you say that, would you say that Hitler himself was a puppet also, or?
He probably was. Adolf Hitler equals 110, born on the 110th day of the year, supposedly president 110, his whole death by the numbers. So, and I mean, I always thought that was dumb as a kid. I was like, really? He died, but they couldn't find his body, huh? It's kind of just like Osama bin Laden, so.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody really knows what happened with that.
Yeah, so it just seems like it's a joke.
All right, well, yeah, that's all I have for you tonight. Thanks for taking my call, and keep up the great work.
All right, appreciate it, man. Take care.
Bye.
All right, let's go out to Philadelphia.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, what's up?
It's Unknown Warrior here, by the way.
I thought it was. Long time since you called, man. Thanks for calling back.
Oh, no problem, man. I've always been watching the live streams and whatnot. I've been watching it for a while, actually, but some things have captured my attention here, especially in the chat. But first things first, Zach, are you aware of any of the laws of the universe?
How do you mean that?
Well, all right. Basically, there's a lot of laws to the universe that more than there are being said. So are you aware of any of them, like the main ones, like the law of attraction, for example?
Sure.
All right, good. Because I have an even better one for you. These tyrants are following quite a few of them more closely than others, but almost assuredly nothing more than the law of sacrifice. That is why everything is so in sync with their sacrifices. From the useless sports games, I don't watch sports, but I presume the man that you were speaking of today, Tyler, what's his face, got sacrificed for an outcome. Is that correct?
Tyler Skaggs, yeah.
All right, good. That is what they're doing.
Hey, hold on. Pause right there because the commercial's about to kick in. I didn't realize how close we were, and then we'll continue right when we come back. Everybody sit tight. Quick commercial break.
I'm in the chat. I'm cool. I'm in the chat.
All right, yeah. We'll be right back, man. Sit tight.
Yeah.
All right, we're on the quick commercial break. I'm interested to hear what the caller's going to say about this law of sacrifice. I don't think I know about this, so could be an important missing piece. Geezy, man, the what's going on in his world is, what's the next sports prediction? Yeah, we'll probably do that this week, man. Are you on Patreon? I'm sure we can do it then. Destiny Lord asks if some of these deaths might have to do with people not following the rules that they might have signed up for. It's possible. It's possible. Sometimes I wonder, especially about these young athletes. So. A lot of times he'll ask me questions. It's like, how am I supposed to know the answer to that question? You know, I'm not the one who's behind this. I'm just the one exposing all that I can. So some things you just don't know unless you're behind the scenes. Twin flames. There's somebody out there who might be listening who loves that concept of twin flames. Let's see. Person in the chat said he got into a confrontation with some Freemasons outside of their lodge. He's letting us know he's still okay. Well, that's good. Jeremy White says he's going to try to get some Gematria shout-outs on Cameo. That's cool. Let me know how that goes, Jeremy. That's cool. I don't know that any bridges are going to be destroyed on August 11th, but if anything does happen, we'll know what's up. So.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
The time comes when silence is betrayal. more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority. This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. Let's go back out to Philadelphia. He got interrupted. He wanted to talk about the law of sacrifice. You got the floor, friend.
Awesome. Cool to be back. All right. So this is a way to look at it. Basically, the law of sacrifice is in order to receive something new in your life that you are desiring, you have to willingly give away something. So let's think about this for a moment here. We were all just talking about all the blood sacrifices going on, and just today. I don't even want to think about this week, but it truly does make a lot of sense to me that this is the reason, well, one of the main reasons that they do this. And another thing that occurred to me, Zach, by the way, is outside of the possibilities that people are being murdered by the numbers or, you know, just randomly being killed, is a third one. And that is that we have people that are willingly giving themselves up for sacrifice to help ensure a success of someone. That is a consideration I think we should all take pretty seriously. What do you think?
Absolutely.
All right, fair enough. So, in accordance to this, all the sacrifices that are being done by this code, this is what I believe. I believe Gematria is absolutely a fundamental part of it. But another fundamental part of it are the laws of the universe. Because think about the word law for a second. And then think about the police, law enforcement, right? You see what they're doing here? And okay, and if it's still not making sense, all right, think about the language used in court, like affirmations, for example. Well, guess what? There's the law of affirmation in the universe. Do you kind of see what they're doing here with the whole law thing?
Sure.
Now, get this. Since law, but by definition, is something that is basically immutable, how are we as humans exactly making law? No. These aren't laws, buddy. I don't mean you, Zach, by the way. These aren't laws. These are called rules. And rules are meant to be broken, especially ridiculous rules that we are all supposed to follow because the TV says so. Well, guess what? Screw that. The real laws are the ones that we aren't taught when we are supposed to be. And you know what? Gematria is also one of those things, that we aren't taught when we're supposed to, like at a young age, say second or third grade. And the reason this is a crime is because of this, what's going on in the world today. If we all were following the laws, the actual laws correctly, the world would not be this way. The people in the chat right now who were talking about simulation and whatnot, they're not technically wrong, but they're not right either. I know you said that you have a theory about it, but here's mine. Our thoughts and action impact the universe, according to the law. So I believe it's a reasonable assumption. Well, assumption to make that we as human beings have our own universe, our moment in time, so to speak. And when we wish something to be as an individual, our universe is absolutely impacted. But when we come together cohesively, and as a unit, like a military unit, like we could just have 10 people wanting the same thing, that's when an entire city, for an example, would be affected if the energy is powerful enough. That's why they also work so hard to keep the vibrations low. You see? You always said numbers have a vibration. So I just started to really, really think about that over the last year. And over the last year, I came to a lot of conclusions, but this is absolutely one of them. And it really is, a shame when you think about it, and a crime that we aren't taught this. Because, for example, like, it's so simple. Like, there's a law out there, the law of compensation, for example. The saying, give to receive, that is the law of compensation, quite literally. If people knew this, right, they would absolutely, give into their innate desire to help someone. Because I've heard you say several times that, people want to help, but they just can't because of the BS. They see this going on. But if they knew about this, for example, well, maybe they would, have a second thought, right?
Right.
So these tyrants, what I believe is going on here is it's a whole lot of things they are keeping from us as a society. But what they're really trying to do here, outside of putting us on a spell, is just keep our vibrations down. That way we can impact our own universe and collectively, everybody else in a positive way.
Sure. I think you're right on. I know there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. So, yeah, you've been doing some good thinking and making some great points.
And there's another great point that I would like to make here, Zach. Think about this. The last two presidents we've had, George W. Bush and Barack Obama, they both served 8 years, right? That's a lot like 88, foreshadowing Trump. Don't you think it's a possibility that they're going to go with an 888 ritual here? I mean, think about it. 8, you always taught that 8 is like, 2 circles and it represents power and whatnot. Why would they go for 884 when they could just go for 888? You see, I don't think Trump is leaving office. Oh, no. I think he's saying sorry about that, but things are going to go haywire. Ivanka gets in there just like The Simpsons. What do you think of that?
Well, The Simpsons was 2028. So if Trump was 2 terms, he'd get out in 2024. So there'd be a gap between his presidency.
Right. That's right. So that's why I think that there's a possibility he won't get out of office until then. Not anything panicky like martial law, but something to keep him in office, like a war president or something. Don't you think that's a possibility?
Well, I guess anything's possible. It'd be more than 8 years. I was going to make the point that Donald J. Trump sums to 888 when you do the cipher where you multiply the alphabet a quarter times 6 for your 888 theory. So
his offer name, Emma, and that, that's something to go with, right?
Sure.
But okay, fair enough. That's a little bit in the future. I really hope we can stop this before then. But to be in the present moment, as I was just giving a lecture on, so to speak, The number 77, the wizard number, that captured my attention. I caught your Bill Gates video a bit late. I actually only saw that last night. And guess what? Fox News today, right? They were, of course, the propaganda with the border wall, people sleeping on sidewalks. Yeah, that's not happening. Anyway, the word 77 was used. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, something's going on here, because I just learned about the significance of that number by you last night. you see?
Well, they put that number out there a lot. It's just like when they reported that Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer asked for him to be in his house, all the news was sure to report that his house is worth $77 million, you know. So.
Yep, that's a good point. Power is also 77 though, right?
Yes, it is.
There's a lot of power in that number. That's why it's, you know, casting a spell. You're onto something here, my man. Absolutely onto something. And I know there's only so much time in the day, but maybe there's something here for you to give an example of with the laws of the universe. Maybe in particular, the law of sacrifice. Maybe, how about it? Maybe you could try and work something in with the Gematria of certain events. Do you think that's worth a shot?
Well, be more specific. How do you mean that?
Sure. Sorry, I just want to pull some up here. Here we go. All right. Is there a way to send you this, Zach? You know what? I'll just post this on in the chat. But just read this and just come to your own conclusion with it.
Okay.
There, that should show up. Is it showing?
I can't see anything.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Yeah, okay, it's showing. I see it.
Well,
okay, Zach. So that's all the information I called.
I think it only shows on your end. I don't think it actually posted in the chat. You can text it to me. Do you have my 509 number?
No, I don't.
Well, it's 509-731.
Okay, hold on.
Are you ready?
Let's see.
Anybody can have this number, by the way.
I got it.
It's the Gematria Effect Hotline. 509-731-0567.
All right, got it. Fantastic.
Yeah. I'll take a look at it, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, definitely. That's why I called in to share. So, all right, Zach, I'm going to work on texting you a few things regarding this, and thanks for taking my call, man. It's great talking to you again.
Yeah, good talking to you, man. You have a good night. Appreciate it. Take care.
You take care, man.
All right.
All right.
Hold on. Before I go back up to the calls, I just want to read some song lyrics real quick. Of course, that song, Murder by Numbers, just listen to these part of the lyrics. Now you can join the ranks of the illustrious in history's great dark Hall of Fame. All our greatest killers were industrious, at least the ones that we all know by name. But you can reach the top of your profession if you become the leader of the land. For murder is the sport of the elected, and you don't need to lift a finger of your hand. And then it goes into the chorus, because it's murder by numbers, 1, 2, 3. It's as easy to learn as your ABCs. So, I mean, that essentially what you're saying about the sacrifice, I mean, that does seem to be the way it is. It's like giving up something to get further ahead, whether it's in your profession or some next wicked act. But the other curious part of that is just how it ends with, and you don't need to lift a finger of your hand. It's like, well, what's that about? Is it spell casting? Because we're often asking, how are they achieving this, all of these, synchronized deaths so perfectly? So strange stuff. Let's go out to El Cajon, California. Caller? Caller, are you there? I might have caught her at a bad time. Caller, are you there?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to come back to you. Let's see. Caller, are you still there?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, Zach, Autism Mom here. How you doing this week?
Doing well. Thanks for calling.
Well, so I was doing some thinking after your video yesterday about just explaining things in wonderful terms yesterday. I just want to say that was an amazing video. I was actually able to send that to a few people who I've been sending the videos out to, but they've just been not able to really follow everything, you know?
Right.
So I really would like to see more videos like that. That'd be great, because that's, I think, maybe what we need to help spread this movement, because your intelligence is vast beyond some others, you know? So, but anyway, just want to call. I don't want to take too much time. And I really enjoyed the video yesterday. I'd love to see more like that. And I'll let everybody else get through. So just want to say hey.
All right. Appreciate it. And I will do that. You have a good night, friend. Thank you.
You too.
All right.
Happy early birthday. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. Let's go out to New York.
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for calling.
I got 3 points I want to get to. But you said what Trump said wasn't racist. When somebody tells somebody to go back where you came from, that means you're not welcome here. And I done heard that plenty of times before.
But that's not really racist, right? You could say that to anybody. You could say, go back to where you came from. I mean, you can't say that's a racist statement.
Well, I have heard that before. People have called me that, told me that before, and it's just that tone. That's a dog whistle. Anytime somebody tell you go back to where you came from, you know what they mean. You don't belong in America. That's basically what that means when somebody say that. But I don't want to talk about that. I'm going to go to the next 2 points I got. Did you see the thing about the Face app? About that some app that makes you look old? That it was created about the Russians in St. Petersburg, Russia.
I didn't see that yet.
Did you see that story?
I didn't see that.
Well, they saying that basically what they're doing is they taking control of your phone, of your all the photos on your phone, and basically what they're saying is they probably can try to hack it in your phone and try to eavesdrop or something like that. But that's what all these apps ask for permission for your gallery in your phone. You notice that, right? Most of all the apps out here, for you to use the app, you got to give them permission to put something on your phone, right, Zach?
Right. This is true.
Okay, and this is the other story. I think Oakland became the third police department to not use facial recognition. First, it was San Francisco in May, and then in June it was somewhere in Massachusetts. Then it was Oakland. I think that was the day or yesterday. So you telling me that all the other police stations across the country are using this facial recognition without telling the people?
Of course they are.
So why are they making news about San Francisco, Massachusetts, and Oakland not using it? They're not saying nothing about all the rest of the states.
Well, that's a good point. They're probably also setting it up so that something will happen in those cities, and they'll be like, "Oh, see, this is why you need the facial recognition." So.
Okay. And there's one more thing. But Trump, you know why he attacked the four Democrats, right? Because he had a rally today.
Okay.
So he needed something. He always needs somebody to go against for him to make his point. He got to have a target. Like it was always, it got to be Hillary or Obama. So now the Democrats are his target for his campaign now. And the people in the crowd are saying, the people in his crowd, guess what they were saying? That let her go back home or something. Let her go back something. So that's what I'm saying. That's why it's racist. Because when people say go back, you know what that means when they tell you to go back. They basically say you don't belong here. That's what I'm saying about it. He didn't say nothing racist, but for him just saying that, if you're a person of color or minority or something, You know what that means.
Sure, I do hear the point you're making. Yeah, you're making a relevant point. It's true. So.
Okay, that's it, Zach.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thanks as always. You have a good night.
Okay.
But that's who Trump is. He's the divide and conquer candidate, and you know, he's pretty much hated on every single group of people there is, except for the people from Israel. So let's go out to Tennessee. Tennessee. I don't know if there's a little delay or what. It shows that Tennessee is on the line. Tennessee. All right, maybe next time, Tennessee. Let's go out to California. California, you there? These people have been on hold so long, they might have put down the phone. All right, let's try the next person. Let's see. Michigan? Well, that doesn't seem right. 3 in a row, I can't hear anybody. That doesn't make sense. Let me try one more. And if not, I might have to reset the call board here. Let's try Texas. Texas, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, that worked. All right, there we go.
Yep. How you doing, man? I called in last week. It was my first time calling in. I talked to you about the potential of organics in the gematria versus, contrived. My question for you this week, or my wife and my question for you this week is, last year you had, well, first and foremost, my phone number is deceiving because I used to live in Texas, but now I live in Colorado.
Okay.
And we have a daughter that goes to school, and she was in a STEM school last year when the STEM shooting happened at Highlands Ranch. So, of course, when the news broke, it said STEM school shooting in Colorado. Of course, we panicked, et cetera, et cetera. But it didn't happen to be her exact STEM school. Upon reading your breakdown of it and comments and whatnot, there seems to be a consensus that it was a more or less a staged act to further the agenda as far as, removing weapons and things like that from our hands, making laws against possessing them, etc. If that's the case, what happens to those people? What happened to that cat? You know what I'm saying? The kid that they say died. Because the other thing, some people were saying those people don't exist. That kid wasn't real. But he is a real person because my wife's grandmother, her grandfather worked with his father, and that boy had been to her house. So he was indeed a real person. But I just want to know if that's the case, what happens to those people? Why, you know what I mean? How do you explain that away?
Well, it's possible that people are really getting shot in these instances, I wonder if the shooters are MK Ultra experiments sometimes. So they might even be told what student to target. So.
Okay. I do understand that, and I feel you on that because I moved here shortly before the Aurora Theater shooting. And just upon watching the news myself on all of that, I felt like there was something wrong with it. It just didn't make sense. Watching it here in Denver, from our news media standpoint, they had helicopters and they were showing the dude's car was parked in the first spot right outside the theater, that he shot up, which is extremely lucky considering there was three theaters showing that movie that night. You know what I'm saying? If he gets caught walking across potentially with all those weapons, they call the cops before he even makes it in. Secondly, how did he get in? If he came in through the exit door, it had to be propped open. If he propped it open, how come there's no footage of him anywhere buying a ticket? And nobody reported seeing him in line, even though he had bright red-ass orange hair. You know what I'm saying? Nobody said, man, I saw that dude. He looked fucking crazy. You know what I mean? So if he came through and propped it, why don't we have him on footage? that means he had help. So I felt like the whole thing on that was messed up. The crazy part is after we discovered your work, my wife and I were sitting here and we decided to break that exact thing down on our own before having read your book or anything like that. I still haven't finished it. I'm in the process of reading it. But come to find out that from his birthday to the date of that shooting was 220 days, which can also be written as 5,280 hours, which is the elevation of Denver, 5,280 Mile High City.
Huh. That's interesting. Good catch.
So, and like I said, we broke that ourselves, and that was like an epiphany moment. So after, since then we've been pretty much following, but just a question based upon, like I said, our interest in that last case, and then having children here in the state in a similar school, and how close.
Hold on. We're going to commercial. We'll be right back, everybody. Commercial keeps sneaking up on me. Okay, last commercial break before the final 30 minutes of the show. Don't forget, since he was talking about the Aurora, Colorado shooting, that was perfectly synced up with the Sandy Hook school shooting. And remember, it was the Batman movie premiere. And for the first time ever in the Gotham skyline, they had a bright orange sign that said Aurora. And then the Aurora Theater gets shot up at the Batman premiere. And also for the first time in the history of Batman, on the Gotham City map, they changed the neighborhood that was named South Hinckley. They changed it from South Hinckley to Sandy Hook. And if I remember right, from the Aurora shooting to the Sandy Hook shooting was 147 days later. Of course, Freemasons 147, conspiracies 147, police is 147. Numbers that show up again and again. Plus, there's a whole lot more to those riddles, but they're all covered in great detail in my book. The shooter's name was also 58 at the Aurora shooting, just like Sandy Hook's 58, and the Sandy Hook shooting was on a date with 58 numerology. Freemasonry's 58. Chardon shooting. That was so Gary, who's in the chat, he actually attended the high school that was shot the year of Sandy Hook, February 27th, the 58th day of the year. And he wasn't there when the shooting happened, but again, he graduated the year prior to the shooting. And he actually knew that the people who were named, the shooter who supposedly broke out of prison sometime after on September 11th. And as far as he knows, that shooting was legitimate too. So again, some of these people, they might be, mind control victims. But it does seem that some of the school shootings, real bullets are being fired. So Simple Truth TV. I remember your decode on that. I didn't do my own work on it. Apologies. All right, we're coming back from the commercial. All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. We're in the final 30 minutes. There's a lot of people who are still on hold. So again, one question, one thought, and we'll keep it moving. Let me go back out to the caller who got interrupted by the commercial so he can finish his thought. You're on, friend.
Yeah, man. So, no, I appreciate your answer. I just want to say keep up the good work, man. My wife and I will continue to follow. We'll continue to do our own decodes at home and continue to contribute, on a weekly basis.
All right. Appreciate it, friend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a good night. All right. California, you're up next. Hello, you're on.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
I had a question for you. There was a video that you uploaded on a channel that probably got deleted years ago. There was a story about how you had like a weird like stalking situation with your neighbor, like a harassment situation. I was wondering if stuff like that kept happening to you, or did that end like eventually, or?
Well, I've moved since then, so I'm not in the same area, so that helped resolve the problem. The only thing weird I've had happen since I moved out here is I had the FBI come to my door and falsely accuse me of something I never said. But that was last August, so it's almost a year ago. So since then, it's been okay.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. I was, that just kind of sparks my, I had a similar situation, so. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
I don't really have much else to say. Have a good one.
All right, brother. Have a good night, man. And my throat is going rough. Hold on. See if I can get it together here. All right, let's go out to New Jersey.
Hey, what's up, man? Sorry, my phone died before.
Oh, so you call back in?
Yeah, see the one person talking about drink this. What kind of water do you drink? Sorry, that's a weird question.
Just filtered water.
Is there a certain filter that's the best, or?
Well, there might be. I use the ones my mom sends me.
The filter is good, but.
So.
Also, what do you think of the whole flat Earth debate? What do you think of that? Do we actually live on the spinning ball or the flat? I'm sorry if you already answered these.
Well, the flat Earth thing to me is just like a needless thing for people to fight over that's caused a lot of division in the community. So, kind of to me, it's just it's definitely not my favorite topic. I'll put it that way.
So, do you follow any religions at all, or you don't believe in any of that?
No one who's awake is religious, man.
Yeah, that's true. All right, yeah. Thanks for answering, man.
All right, yeah, no problem. Have a good night. Let's go out to Ohio.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, it's me. What up, though?
What's up, man?
Not much. So, okay. Oh, man. It's like after reading everybody's comments and listening to y'all, it's like I always seem to lose my train of thought. But I got it. So, to help raise or never mind. I said that before about raising vibration. So to kind of take things to the next level, what I suggest everybody do that's watching, that's paying attention, that is aware of Gematria and numerology and all that good stuff. Don't wait for this man to decode, stuff on a daily basis or once a week. If you just listen once a week, do it yourself. And what you can do, if you read any type of news publications or magazines or whatever, decode that, and you will find things. And I'm particularly talking to a specific group, the group of people that like to call in on the daily and listen to your sports decodes. you can find out things that are going on that have happened or will happen by decoding things like, I don't know, the USA Today sports section, Sports Illustrated, MLB.com, NFL.com, NBA.com. They giving you the answers. And it's the same thing, I guess, with everything else that's going on in the world too. You could decode the news like this man does every day, and you could find out about different things. So when you do call in, or you got a subject or a topic, you can break stuff down, maybe not on the level of a Rambo, but you can see the things that these people see. So that's a way of taking things to another level, and I guess having more synchronicity with things. And I guess it's second nature to me because I've always been like scientific by nature and just studying different things. So, because I used to wonder like, well, how is this lining up like this? How does this happen? So on and so forth. And, the answer would be synchronicity. But I would still wonder how, and it's because I make it a habit to do these things unconsciously, subconsciously. So I guess that's just a suggestion, not really a question, just thoughts. I found something, and I'll text it to you so you'll get a picture. But I found something on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Go look at the fantasy football cover. It has Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr., and I want to say Le'Veon Bell. And it says, the title, the headline says, Season of the Switch. And it just hit me today that they use that line to pay tribute to a man named Donovan that made a song back in 1966 called Season of the Witch from the Sunshine Superman album. Just hit me, I swear to God, Zach, just hit me today. And it's like, I've seen this, and I was going to do like a video on it, but I probably still will now that I discovered that's the connection. But I'm going to let you figure that out, and I'm going to hop off of here, man. But thank you for everything that you've shown us and continue to show us. And thank you, for helping me personally.
Of course, you're welcome.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Right,
and I look forward to that video. Yeah, keep up the good work, man. You have a good night.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
I know Season of the Switch equals 74, those infamous numbers. Let's go out to New Mexico. New Mexico, I hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
All right. Hey, I've just been listening to you for probably a month now, and yeah, it grabbed my attention fully, everything that you talk about. I live in on like the Navajo reservation area, so I've been looking into more of like the Native American side of it and pro sports and stuff. I don't know if you've ever touched on.
Oh, absolutely. Here, I'll tell you one right now. So last year before the NFL season began, I said, watch, there's going to be a real genocide theme this year for the 99th NFL season because the United States of America equals 99. Have you heard me talk about this before?
Yeah, I've heard that one. I was kind of going in depth with a hot player around here is Jacoby Ellsbury, mostly because he's Navajo. And, that's where everybody is around this area. So everyone has been focused on him. But he hasn't played since like 2017. He's always been injured, like throughout his whole career and everything. And I was kind of wondering if there's like a behind the scenes kind of thing with it, so it kind of got me going down the rabbit hole with his name. I mean, 2 out of the 4 ciphers, his Jacoby Ellsbury is the same as Boston Red Sox. I know he's with the Yankees now, but then he also 2 out of the 4 ciphers, he
he has 2 of the same as disabled list. And then also the town that he's from is, I think you say Madras, Oregon. All 4 sync up with him. And then just a while ago, I thought it was funny too, because I was looking more in like Native American history and stuff. You know, I'm thinking like injuries and all this, there's something behind it. So I'm going to like Wounded Knee, you know, the massacre and everything. Just the title of it kind of popped out. I think everyone's pretty familiar with like Sitting Bull and Geronimo and all that. You know how you have your witch and broom ciphers that are the same. And I don't know if you've came across the pneumonia and influenza. Is like 2 of the most common ones, like Sitting Bull and Geronimo. They both died from that. Both of them are in tune with each other and all 4 ciphers. And then also, sorry, I'm a little like rambling. Also, measles was another reason that I know like sickness and Native Americans back in the day. Measles and savages, all 4 ciphers are the same. And I know the S thing on the end, you talk about it, adding 9, but I know savages is like a really common slur for American Indians back in the day and everything. But those 2 also have the 4 same ciphers. And then I had it written down. And then another one that kind of like threw in there with those 2 words, measles and savages, that kind of links up in 3 of the ciphers. Actually, all 4 of them. It's just the, you know how you change like 74 to 47, like the reversal side of it. It's powwow. And I don't know, I just kind of found all this interesting, especially with Geronimo. If you type out Geronimo, where he was said to have died is Fort Sill. And Fort Sill, 2 out of the 4 ciphers equals up with him as long, and so does the word Indian. Indian, 3 of the ciphers match up with Fort Sill. I don't know, I just kind of got into this just the past couple of days. I just started looking up if there's some coding in Native American history and all that, because like I was saying, that's the majority of the population where I live. I feel like if I can kind of crack into some of that, it might help some of my friends believe it.
Sure.
I'm the odd one out around this area, you know. But, yeah, I mean, I bought your book. I became one of your Patreons just recently, and yeah, I just wanted to thank you, and I'm glad I got through tonight.
Well, you're very welcome.
Oh, and one more thing I wanted to make.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. One more thing I wanted to make about the Jacoby Ellsbury. His full name, including his middle name, one of the ciphers it comes out to 343. And when you look at his current stats today, that's his number of stolen bases. So I'm kind of wondering if he's gone, or I don't know. That's just kind of all I have on my end. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, very interesting. When I first started this, I looked at the name Chief Seattle, and I saw it summed to 113, just using the alphabetic order. And supposedly he gave his very well-known speech about all things being connected in history on the date March 11th, which is 113. So I'm sure Native American history is full of it, and you're doing some great work. Yeah. Well, keep it up for just being here for a month. I can tell you got it down. You're doing some great things already. So nice to hear your voice.
All right.
All right. You take care.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Let's go out to Virginia. Virginia?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Zach?
Yeah, you're on.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Jaisi. I'm in the YouTube chat. I don't want to take a long time because I know it's almost 12, but I've been following you since 2014, maybe like a year after you've been on YouTube. But I just want to say I think you are an amazing person. I think you have a beautiful spirit, and I just love your work. Me and my mom watch your videos. We were watching them today while we were cleaning up some houses, and I just thank you so much. And I just love your work, and I can't wait to work with you. I would love to work with you. I think that would just be amazing. And I just appreciate you so much for your channel. This is the first time I'm calling, and I just wanted to say thank you. I really appreciate you.
Well, you're very welcome, and I definitely recognize your name, and you've left a lot of supportive comments and messages over the year, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you for doing that, and thank you also for calling in tonight. It's nice to hear your voice.
It is as well. Thank you. I really appreciate you, Zach. Thanks.
All right. You have a great night. Get some rest.
You too, Zach. Thank
right.
you. You do the same.
I will. Thanks.
All right. Good
All
night.
right, take care. And I am looking forward to getting some rest. I'm probably not going to stay extra time tonight because I literally have been pretty much in this chair since 6 a.m. just going all day straight. So kind of excited to almost be done. Not that I don't love being here. It's just, I mean, I've pretty much been in this chair for 15 straight hours. So let's go out to Illinois. Illinois, how are you?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. I just wanted, first, I'm Rebecca. I've called a couple of times and I've never said my name.
Hi, Rebecca.
I just wanted to say the day after that New York blackout, I saw on CBS, they were saying that, 7,500 people, was without power.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as it starts, one of the anchors actually said, right when it started, he goes, I don't know where they got that number from because I can tell you there was a lot more than that.
Huh. Interesting.
I just thought it was interesting, I mean, you just even, kind of being called out that they just throw numbers out for a reason.
Right. Mm. What that number?
That's pretty much it.
Well, I was going to say that first number, 7,500. It's the 75 part that stands out to me because New World Order is 75, Order Out of Chaos is 75, and But yeah, that is a good example of what you heard there. So I appreciate that.
Okay, well, then I'll let other people get on. That's just all I wanted to point out.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Okay. You too.
All right. Take care. It's not often we get 3 female callers in a row. The record is 4 female callers once called in consecutively. We'll see if we can match it. Let's go out to California.
Yes. Hello.
Amazing.
Another female caller.
Amazing. We've tied our record. How are you?
It's Autism Mom again. I was just calling back in because after the Colorado caller, I thought about something that I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Let me pick your brain a little about the MK Ultra project and Manchurian candidates and Colorado specifically. Because what is going on with that state? I mean, I got a little obsessed with the Watts case because I'm a true crime lover. And then hearing all the school shootings and everything else, like, what's your take on Colorado specifically?
I agree. Something is definitely going on in the state of Colorado. I've said this before, and their whole thing with the airport and that Freemason plaque, the New World Order Airport Commission. Yeah, something's obviously going on in Colorado. And I think about how Colorado's the 38th state and how Colorado equals 38. And the word death is 38, and we get so many stories of tragedy and murder and killing out of that state. Murder and killing are 38. Colorado also sums to 83 like murder. So I think that is part of the reason why, because it has that fateful number attached to the state. And but yeah, I have the same question. What is going on there? So
yeah, after the second interview with the husband on that case, I always, after learning about Gematria, always am second questioning everything, like, is this just made for the movies type situation? But out of the second interview, what he stated was, it's like he had no control, and he woke up knowing he was going to do it and couldn't stop himself. And was like almost like an out-of-body experience.
And this is Chris Watts?
Thinking, gosh.
This is Chris Watts?
Yes, this is the Chris Watts.
His whole story is all about 83. Like, every detail of that story is 83, 83, 83. Just like Colorado and murder are 83. So,
crazy.
That's actually something I said I wanted to do months ago, and that's really what I need to start doing. I said I want to travel and talk to Chris Watts in prison. I wonder if I'm going to look into see if I can do that. I think those are the types of things I need to do. There's a lot of people in prison who would be interesting to talk to about this research to see what kind of information you could get. So
that would be probably the most interesting take on the internet, because YouTube is just flooded with Chris Watts theories, and I'd love to see it broken down with things that actually you can connect with, not opinions and hearsay.
Sure.
Well, I'm interested to see your work on that, because I've been a little obsessed.
Sure.
But
have you seen the videos I've put out on Chris Watts?
I have.
Okay.
It just left me wanting a little bit more.
Sure.
I would love to see you dig into that a little more too. But that's my obsession too.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to look into where he is stationed at in prison and see if it's possible to set up an interview there. And if I can, I'll travel there, because these types of things need to be done. I think I said it long ago that he'd be a good person to interview since he's still alive. He's not somebody who killed himself at the end of this thing, and just see what kind of information could be obtained. So I'll look into that.
I look forward to it very much so.
All right.
Enjoy the show. Can't wait for next week.
All right. Great. You have a good night. Thanks for the call and that suggestion.
Absolutely.
All right, take care.
My pleasure. Have a great one.
All right. Bye. Let's go out to Morgan Hill, California.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, Zach, what's going on, man?
Just doing the show, man.
All right, sweet, man. I was just calling. I'm sitting here with my girl, and she doesn't believe this whole earthquake happening on 08/11. Can you try to convince her that she's crazy for believing?
No, I'm not going to convince her that she's crazy. She's right to be a skeptic. So again, if she's on, I'd like to know what she thinks about this. Has she heard about HAARP before? And if she has, she can look into it. Jesse Ventura on his conspiracy show that he used to do, who did an episode on HAARP and how it has the capability to manufacture earthquakes. If you look up what the name is for HAARP, the full name of it, in this code of letters and numbers, it sums to 223. So does natural disaster. And the patent date for HAARP is actually August 11th, which is the 223rd day of the year. And then you got to go, well, how strange is it that this year in San Francisco, on that date, they're honoring the World Series earthquake team? So, I mean, it doesn't mean that there's necessarily going to be an earthquake on August 11th, but doesn't all of that seem a little bit beyond coincidence?
Yeah, man.
What does she think?
She thinks I'm crazy. She thinks you're crazy. Yeah, she's not a big fan, but I'm going to talk to her right now and change her mind, because I really think it's going to happen.
Well, it could happen. It's definitely not out of the question. What does she just think that the earthquake on the military base on July 4th was just Mother Nature?
I don't know. What do you think, huh? Oh yeah, she's shaking her head. Yeah, she says Mother Nature.
So okay, so well, I mean, if you've never researched the capability that the military has, and if you've never thought about how they literally blew up atomic and nuclear weapons underground for about 50 years straight, if you just don't think about these things and you just shrug your shoulders, I mean, you can dismiss it all as a coincidence. But an earthquake on the military base on July 4th, 1,776 days from the last major earthquake in California. I mean, that's quite the coincidence. So, how old's your girlfriend?
22.
22. Well, she's young. She might not even know that July 4th, 1776 is the nation's birthday. I imagine if you survey the average 22-year-old in the U.S., they don't even know. So,
yeah, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. So, thanks for your input, Zach.
All right, man. All right, you have a good night, dude. Take care.
Right,
if he would have put her on first, we would have had 5 female voices in a row. It would have been a new record. But hey, we tied 4. Not bad. Let's go out to New Jersey. New Jersey, you're the last caller tonight. You get the take it away.
How you doing, Zach?
Doing well. And just so you know, there's about 40 seconds left before the show ends, so I'm just going to let you speak.
Okay. What I wanted to say, pretty much, I decoded. I'm from Jersey, and my nephew was murdered back on May 18th of 2018, and I did a decoding of it, and I just wanted to shoot it to you.
Okay.
And show you the numbers. Okay, so all right, when you put his name in the Gematria Nader, it generates his name is Maurice Nigel Lewis.
Go fast, go fast. Hit us with the number because the show's almost over. I see right away he was murdered on a date with 34 numerology, and murder equals 34. What's his name equal?
It equals, when you put in his name, it equals, the four ciphers, it comes up 185, which is the date that he was murdered. I mean, the day he was shot.
May 18th.
Which was May 18th. And then the next one is 86. The next one after that is 74 and 103. Right now.
Sorry, man, we're out of show, but I hear you already. I'm sorry that happened, man. We'll be back. That was too bad. He didn't quite get in enough time because the show was over, but his cousin was murdered May 18th, and his cousin's name equals 185. 18/5, May 18th. And that was a date with 34 numerology, and murder's 34. And then he was saying his cousin's name equaled 86, like blood sacrifice. I think I heard him say 74, like killing. And then 103, the 27th prime, ritual 27. So, glad you enjoyed the show, Brandon. Thank you. And yeah, it really is something else. So, I mean, I wish the caller was still on so we could hear more about the murder and what information's known. There really is an organic side to this code. And you know, it's like some of it's just, it's like it cannot be explained. It can only be observed. So I talked about how my grandmother died recently. She died on May 5th, and her name was Judith Charles, which equals 57. She died exactly 57 days before her birthday. Her birthday was July 1st, and she would have turned 84. She died at age 83, this number that we talk about a lot in connection to death. And the other thing that I think is strange about her death is I probably talked to her more than any family member, just because she actually listens and doesn't dismiss things. I probably talked to her more than any family member about this knowledge. And, you know, I don't know if it was ever her favorite cup of tea, but she would listen and chime back. But May 5th is an interesting day to die because numerology in Gematria sums to 55 and 125, and 5/5, May 5th is the 125th day of the year. And it was also weird for me because I came up just shy of getting to see her. I was supposed to see her that day, but I didn't make it there in time. And again, I've just been paying attention to the deaths. There hasn't been many examples in my own immediate family in the time that I've been doing this. There's only been two, my grandmother and also my other grandmother. She didn't die, but the man she got remarried to, she actually, my grandmother, so the grandmother who just died is my dad's mother. And then the grandmother who's still alive, she got remarried to her high school sweetheart when her husband died a long time ago. And I should actually go back and look at his death. He died when I was a child. But when the man that she was remarried to died, what was so weird is he had been in the hospital forever. And the town he was in is in North Dakota. It's actually a town called Devil's Lake. And if I remember right, the name of the town, whatever the value was, that was how many days he died from his birthday. And I thought, that is strange. So, you know, this research, man, it does boggle the mind. There's definitely an organic side, but sometimes when I think about his death, though, I'm like, man, he was in the hospital for a long time, and I know there's something going on in these hospitals. Did somebody just want to pull the plug on this guy, or what? But there's still a lot more to figure out. So. No, I'm not afraid of death, man. I mean, sometimes it just seems like it might be better than just like living here and putting up with the madness every single day. But not to end the show on a gloomy note. I mean, as sick as the world is, you still got to figure out ways to enjoy yourself and you know, keep a sense of humor about things. But you know, when you grind all day every day to get out the truth, and I was like, man, I could use a vacation from this. So. No, I'm not saying no. Don't misunderstand my words. I'm not suicidal at all. I would never be the suicide type, but I'm just saying death doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world sometimes. So all right, lots of debates in the chat tonight. I'm gonna wrap it up, you guys. Like I said, I really have been here for nearly 15 hours in this chair. I got up a few times to like brush my teeth, eat a snack here and there. I hardly had any time to eat any food before the show, so I had some peanut butter and toast. So anyway, we will wrap it up, and I will be back. Well, I'll be back tomorrow morning, of course, if you're on Patreon, but I'm sure it won't be long until I'm doing the next live stream. And then, of course, we'll be back next Wednesday night. So, oh, yeah. And let me plug two things before I go. Rich would really appreciate it if I plugged Daily Dose of Gematria on Facebook. Again, Rich is who called us earlier from the hospital. He's having some liver problems. I guess he's got high blood pressure. So, but he's not relaxing. He's just grinding and grinding and grinding. I guess I can relate with it. But if you go on Daily Dose of Gematria and say, hey, Rich, I want to get some business cards to help spread the word, he'll get you hooked up. And the other plug is the blog, 27 Decoding. You got to write out the word 27. Spell it out, 27decoding.blogspot.com. If you just do a web search for it, it should come up. He's putting a lot of time into his blog, and he's not getting many people looking at it, so he feels discouraged. And I told him before, I said, man, I had my blog up for a year, and that thing had like close to 0 views until I started making YouTube videos. So all right. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll be back sooner than expected. Till next time.